First of the first things, we start the goddamn show. And with that fanfare, welcome. Welcome, you fools, to a star to steer her by. Finally, we're wrapping up our Star Wars talk and regretting a whole lot of stuff that we talked about for the last couple of weeks. Wow, it's been a while. But we are wrapping it up with the final one that we're talking about, not the final of the Star Wars, because we've been doing this in a strange order. But we're finally gotten to The Force Awakens, a movie from 5 or 6 years ago. Thank you all for being here. As usual, this is Ames.
This is Caitlin.
Jake.
This is Chris.
I'm James.
And James is here.
James.
Hello.
James, who was supposed to be here earlier for other episodes, but apparently had
I was sick.
issues with the Millennium Falcon.
Yes.
Well, and his car turned into a transformer.
Yeah, that happened.
Tried to kill his neighbor.
It was a bad weekend.
It's a weird weekend.
Yeah. I'm glad it's over.
Alright, I'm glad you're here, because you can help us talk about The Force Awakens.
Yeah!
I'm going to give a fairly quick synopsis of Force Awakens, just to...
No, is it even possible?
Just to remind us.
Long...
It is not, and here's why. Let me read this to you verbatim, because I already wrote it fucking down. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, or rather, almost exactly 9 years ago, it was October 30th, 2012, and George was desperately trying to write an outline for the sequel series to Star Wars to make his franchise more valuable for a sale to Disney. And the Force was strong with him because it worked! Holy shit, guys! And they paid him $4 billion for this franchise that they're going to make lots and lots of money off of.
And he donated it all. What an idiot.
Did
Not
he?
all, but a good portion of it.
A lot of it.
To
yeah.
what?
Whatever.
I don't remember.
Homeless people? Fucking loser. I'm just kidding. That's a really
Aw.
nice thing he did.
Well, a nice thing Disney did was they promised George they would definitely consider that outline that he wrote up and then totally discarded every fucking word. So, they come up with this new movie with J.J. Abrams. Here's the actual synopsis. Remember all that peace and love from the end of Return of the Jedi? Out the window. Fuck that. People really prefer being Nazis, evidently. Kind of proof in the pudding. Only one person can save us. Lawrence Kasdan. I mean, Luke Skywalker. We gotta go find him, everybody. So, we've got a whole big adventure thing to find a MacGuffin map to find Luke. We meet our new friends, an exorbitantly skilled pilot named Poe, a defected stormtrooper named FN-2187, and a desert scavenger, almost a dessert scavenger, and that sounds great.
I'm a dessert scavenger.
Named Rey, and they're on the case. But all the baddies in the First Order, especially our favorite new edgelord, Kylo Ren, would rather they didn't, because they've built this new Death Star, but, bigger, because it's new. And they would have this whole plot, upended, and Luke would totally cramp their style if they found him. So, fast forwarding quickly to the end, we're all totally surprised when we blow up this new Death Star. I've named it the Next Star.
Ooh.
Rey turns out to be Force sensitive. Shocking. Kylo murders the hell out of Daddy Han Solo, which was lots of fun. And we find the MacGuffin, go off to find Luke, paving the way for what are sure to be some truly excellent sequels. Yub nub, everyone. Yub fucking nub.
Okay, here's the thing.
Yes, tell us the thing.
We watched this the other night, and I was shocked. I forgot how genuinely fun and entertaining this movie is.
It's good.
So I want to start off and get negative shit out of the way.
Wow.
We're
gonna circle back around.
Oh, I know, but for me personally, here's the things I really want to get off my chest. J.J. Abrams sucks. J.J. Abrams is a useless, moldering piece of shit who just loves fucking mysteries, but not actually coming up with fucking answers. And nothing makes that more evident than the whole, where did you get this? Talking about Vader's saber. It's like, oh, a good story for another time. Translation, J.J. couldn't be bothered to think.
Or they expected to do it in another film, but the writers didn't fucking talk.
That's what the 9th film was actually going to be about, but then they had to,
I would watch that.
service a whole bunch of fan bullshit.
Such. What else? What else?
like
JJ
I do
has,
like 9, but that's what Chris was saying.
JJ has no fucking sense of scale. When someone told JJ space is big, he thought like New York City big? It's like, no, JJ.
Like this bag of chips?
Yeah, big. Try bigger,
You got
JJ.
chips?
Like Australia, bigger.
2 Australians?
How
'Cause,
many
like-
Australians?
I'm sure we'll bitch about this again when we get to Star Trek 2009.
Oh no.
That's right, we gotta deal with this fucker for 2 more
no.
fucking movies. God, I hate him so much. But,
Wait, did he not direct the third?
He
no,
did not.
that's why it didn't suck.
We liked 2000 and the 2000.
Yeah, the first one's good. The second one is a garbage fire.
What second one? I don't even remember there
Douche.
being. I remember there just being sort of like a first movie and a third movie.
So anyway, the fucking new Death Star, the next star, with its magical splitting beam, blew up the Hosnian system, which is apparently 10 steps away from where it is Maz Kanata lives.
Yep, you can see them all from the back porch too.
That bothered me too. That apparently, from everywhere in the galaxy, you can see everywhere else in the galaxy.
I think the way, one of the, I don't know if, this is a fan thing or a book or anything. Someone tried to make it make sense.
It was the Force.
It's the fact that it was a hyperspace laser, so that made it visible in ways it shouldn't have been.
Here's the other thing.
laser.
Time. How the fuck does time work? Is this laser going faster than the speed of light?
Yes.
It would have to.
They said that.
They
Did they
did
say
say
that?
They said it was a hyperspace.
I hate
laser.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But they all got to their destinations at exactly the same fucking time.
Yeah, because it was more dramatic that way.
Ah.
Yeah.
Also, welcome to the Hosnian system. Why aren't we on Coruscant? Who the fuck knows? We're not going to bother
maybe
ever mentioning
Coruscant
it.
is in the Hosnian system.
They need it for one of the next movies, but the writers don't talk.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it
So
was
that-
really
that's-
obvious that.
Yeah, I think.
Well, the ultimate the writers don't talk is the fact that originally, when Rey gets to Luke Island at the end,
Luke Island.
he was going to be surrounded by all kinds of shit. He was just force holding in the
Oh,
air
I heard
for
about
fun.
that. Yeah.
And then they had to go to JJ actually, and he's like, what? Oh, he's kind of cut himself off from the Force. Oh, would have been good to know that. It's like, yeah, I'll get to know an answer to any of your dumb ideas, you four-eyed hack.
I mean, to be fair, all of this could you can't put it all on JJ because it's 3 movies.
No, I know. They
Should have had a plan together.
Oh, they should have.
Or just one person doing all of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think so. This movie is good in spite of JJ. I think Kazdan is the reason this, because I had forgotten that he wrote this, and in the credits when his name popped, I was like, oh, that explains everything. Now, mind you, Kazdan also wrote Solo, but we won't hold that against him.
Did he write it?
Solo was
The directing is what changed.
Yeah, Solo was his baby. I don't know if this is confirmed, but the thing that I heard about it was that he agreed, because he's always wanted to do a Han Solo spin-off. So his first movie was Empire, and since then he's always wanted to do a Han Solo spin-off. I think it's just because he's got a love affair with Harrison.
Don't blame him.
Like IRL?
Because he also wrote Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
But so supposedly, and George always oh yeah, Larry, we'll get that done. We'll do it just as soon as we have time. We'll do the Han Solo piece.
5 years later.
And,
just whenever we have time.
So apparently Disney went to Kaz and was like, hey, we're doing a Star Wars. We're doing Star Wars Episode 7. You've done, some of the better Star Wars films. We'd like to bring you in to write.
Oh, there's more to this story that I gotta tell.
And his response was, I'm sure among many other things, I will do it on the condition that we do the Han Solo backstory movie.
Really?
And Disney agreed.
Oh, shit.
And that's why we have Solo.
No
That's
shit.
why we have Solo.
I mean, again, I don't know if that's confirmed. I
Also
heard
a
that.
money grab.
Well, yeah, it's a money grab, but supposedly it was that movie was Lawrence Kasdan's baby for 20 years. And it came out, and after Solo came out, he publicly swore off doing any Star Wars ever again because he felt like they ruined his baby. Because
That's a shame. I do like Lawrence Kasdan. But here's the rest of the story that I read, was that they also, before they had JJ and Lawrence Kasdan writing the script, they had this guy, Michael Arndt. I forgot to look him up, but I wrote his name down.
ARNDT?
ARNDT.
aren't very good, I
Why
guess.
do I know that name?
Yeah, and he was writing up the first draft of what was going to be this movie, and just taking for fucking ever. And he was writing it, and finally, they tell him Mikey, how long until you've got a draft? And the quote he gave for how long it would take for him to finish it, he'd been working on it for 8 months, and he said he needed 18 more months
To write a script.
to write the first draft. So they said, no, get the fuck
You know
off.
what? We're passing.
And
Thanks.
then JJ and Lawrence wrote up a first draft in 6 weeks.
Yeah.
So interestingly, he still does get some credit for this movie.
Yeah.
But he's better known as the writer of Little Miss Sunshine and Toy Story 3.
Oh, snap.
Toy Story 3 was real
Those are
good,
both
actually.
good
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah, I love Little Miss Sunshine.
So-
I never saw it.
Yeah, I could see though the weight of writing a Star Wars film being like enough to make even a good writer.
well, especially when
have
it's
problems.
like...
You kind of need an overconfident jerk to work on that script.
That's, like, especially in light of, like, you know...
The prequels.
it's like, it's been years. The last thing was the prequels.
We need people to trust us again, we swear to God.
Yeah, which was a lot of heavy lifting for this movie to do. And I think, you know... Yeah, it's easy to say, and I've said it, and I will say it in future even. Like, it's kind of remaking Episode 4, but...
Is that a bad thing? I
Not
don't even think of it as a
necessarily.
bad thing
That was a
anymore.
good Star Wars.
Well, the thing is, it's I'll admit, like, it's less... In some ways, despite the Death Star at the end, it's still really less Episode 4 than I initially thought. Like, yeah, there's the Death Star, and there's the droid carrying important data, but everything else is unique enough, you know? I mean, you've got these...
I like our new friends. I like our old friends.
Yeah, and that's the thing. What's nice is the new characters aren't just... Well...
Luke but a girl.
Yeah, like, alright, yeah, she's just on a shitty desert planet and blah, 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 but she's still not Luke but a girl. She's got her own backstory and hang-ups and things, and, you know, Finn is...
She doesn't want to leave her awful, desolate planet.
Yeah.
He couldn't wait to leave his awful, desolate planet.
Yeah, Finn as, like, someone who escaped the First Order is unique and interesting.
And we haven't
Especially
ruined
since
him
he's
yet.
ostensibly like a child soldier, which
Yeah.
is like,
Mhm.
that on its own is really interesting. Because, like, before that, was it established that they were, like, just stealing babies and making them...
So in the movie they specifically mentioned, so like this is like Hux's thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, but before this was it?
Yeah, well, so Kylo says, you know, it's basically mentions like, you know, it's like maybe we should reconsider using clone soldiers. Like that's still a thing that was on the table, but Hux was like, no, my soldiers are great. We train them, you know, we program them from birth.
Yeah, during the Empire, it was enlistment. We just, like, the clones were just the prequels.
Did we kill all the clones? Are the clones all dead?
I mean, they'd be really old, right? Like,
Yeah, they still,
What's
like,
the shelf life on it?
once they hit
know,
adulthood,
right?
they still kind of age a bit quicker. So, like,
Also-
even by the time of, like, you know, we joke about how did Obi-Wan age so much in 20 years, whereas the clones actually do.
Oh god, was he a clone this whole time?
My
He was
God.
replaced on
Oh my
Camino.
goodness.
But yeah, and we know that also from Solo, like, they were doing active enlistment because that's what he did.
Right, right.
So yeah, so it was clones, enlistment, stolen child babies.
Mm. Yeah, and that I think brings me to like, I think how I describe this movie to Ames is a dumb plot executed well. Like this movie is executed really well, but so much of the stuff that it's built on is garbage, and that starts with the First Order. Like, how the fuck? Like, we know they retcon it in Episode 9 because evidently the First Order is just
The Emperor.
Palpatine's new pet project.
I
That
looked
the old
up.
man's keeping busy.
So
you know?
in Hux's big speech to all of the troops when they're firing the laser for the first time, it seems to be that the First Order is like a break-off splinter group of the Federation. Or of the Empire, rather. The Empire still exists. They're still doing their thing, but it seems like they're much more amenable to peace. But the First Order is like, you know, it's like, no, we're the real Empire.
Yeah.
Like we still...
And that even in the old sort of Star Wars EU that no longer counts, there was the Imperial Remnant. But it mostly was just like they had a little patch of space they got to call their own. They got to wear their stupid uniforms, have their pointy ships. But by and large, they were like, all right, New Republic, you run the show, you assholes.
Well, see, I would have really liked it if... I mean, I guess, you know, there's a 30-year gap here between this and the previous movie, but, you know, I would like to have known... I hate to say this because I feel like the prequels did too much of this, but I would have liked to have known more about the politics of the galaxy.
Oh, how many trade federations are there?
See, Jake, it's funny, I was thinking the same thing of how, like... Because the thing is, the politics in the original trilogy are very simple.
Mm-hmm.
The Empire runs pretty much everything. Boom. And there's the rebellion. Even the prequels, like, they bog us down with some confusing shit. But at the end of the day, you get, all right, there's the Republic, which seems to run a lot of space.
Oh, I'm already lost.
There's Hutt space.
Shit.
And eventually there's a civil war. And that's straightforward enough. I only understand the politics of the sequels because I've looked up shit online. It's like you said, there needs to be a happy medium between the too much politics of the prequels and the absolutely no exposition of these movies.
Yeah.
Oh, the sequels, they're, well, I think, like, The Last Jedi goes into it more, but, like, movies don't really want to answer questions.
Oh, God, they do not.
Like, they just don't care.
Like, how did Maz Kanata get that lightsaber?
Right, which doesn't make any sense. Why would Luke leave his lightsaber with some rando he doesn't know?
Well, maybe
no,
he didn't. Maybe he threw it into the ocean.
Yeah,
No, that lightsaber fell out of Cloud City. So somebody on the surface of Cloud City planet
But that's
was
impossible.
walking along, got bonked on the head by a lightsaber.
Dude, bonked on the head, it would kill them.
But no, that's the thing though. Bespin is a gas giant. There's no surface for it to land on.
The Force.
See, that's every time there was a coincidence, I was like, "Oh, the Force did that."
Yes.
Yeah.
Like the Force made it so
You've got to give the Force a lot of leeway in this one.
right. Like it's really frustrating when you have a universe with the Force in it. You still have random coincidences to drive your plot forward, and it doesn't seem like it's Force related.
In my experience, there's no such thing as coincidence.
Yeah, except there is in all of these movies, like a lot of it.
No, I know, but he was giving himself carte blanche.
Like what was the so Finn like lies about being part of the Resistance in order to like be friends and stuff, and like there are several encounters with him and Rey where they're kind of like, he wants to tell the truth but he can't. And one time he literally says like, "Rey, I need to tell you something," and then like something in the ship goes wrong. It's like, why did the Force do that? Why did the Force make it so that Finn could not tell the truth? Because if the Force didn't do it, that just means there's random luck. And it means absolutely nothing. And it's really, like, frustrating. Like, you have the ability to, like, gloss over sloppy writing, and they're not even using it. Like, they're just using contrivance for contrivance's sake.
Maybe
like,
the Force did that shit because it knows that every time Batman tries to tell someone who he is, he winds up shot.
No,
More or less.
it's actually
Batman.
this all can be explained by episode 9.
No.
It's Palpatine that's doing all this crazy shit.
Yeah,
I actually looked up, by the way, episode 9 the other day, and let me tell you, there's some stuff they left out that wouldn't have necessarily made the movie good, but would have made make a lot more sense. That actually, so the guy that got thrown down the shaft in episode 6 was Palpatine. The thing in episode 9 is a clone. It's the best clone they can muster.
But who
Who's
made
they?
the clone?
Okay, so
Oh no!
God, why?
No!
Let's talk
I wasn't
about-
going to get into
Let's
that.
talk
but
about 7
basically
instead
all the
of
stuff.
talking about 9.
Well, because it's going to come up a lot, so I feel like I need to clarify these two things.
God damn.
maybe
Palpatine set
do
into
7
motion.
on 7's merits.
I mean, it's very hard to. All the shit that happens in 9, Palpatine was secretly setting up from basically day one. This was always just a contingency plan in his back pocket.
Oh.
Very uninteresting.
Yeah, no, it's terrible. Anyway, back to episode 7, the good one.
Yeah, I like this one.
The production values are really, really good.
Yeah, it is
They
a
are.
beautiful movie.
I am
Yeah.
so happy that they did so much less CGI and went
Yep.
to actual spaces.
And, I mean, it does help, of course,
Seriously.
that there's also been, at this point, 12 years of advancement.
Yeah.
Even the CG that is there is so much better.
I wasn't here for it. I really wanted to talk about how like it was jarring in the Phantom Menace.
Jarring.
Yes, thank you. I hate it. How all the CGI worked and stuff, but like it is important to remember that like it's like where movies are today is because of those failures.
Yeah.
In the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
Specifically the Phantom Menace.
The
Oh, yeah.
the Phantom Menace has tons of problems. Like the actors clearly never know where they are. Whereas in this movie they do. They actually seem like they're in spaces. It also helps that they're interacting with each other more, and so the personal dynamics work better. That's why
fewer walk and
Palpatine.
talks.
Yeah, Palpatine works in the first movies because he's only playing to other actors and nothing else. He never has to like fight and interact with like a world that's not there.
Yeah.
He just has to like mess with one person at a time, and he's great at it. Also, like just issues with like lighting in the originals, where
Yeah.
like they'd be in a gigantic red room and the light would be like pure white or blue, like never quite that bad, but like it never felt like they were actually there and interacting with each other. And like in these movies, it does feel like they're in these places, probably because sometimes they were at least on a tarmac instead of a completely green room.
Yeah, I think the only noticeable, like, wow, this is a lot of CGI, was Hux chatting with his whole goddamn army from his pulpit.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, and I meant to bring this up with the prequels too, is like, for all the shit everyone gave them at the time, again, that's how everyone makes movies now. They're just better at it.
Right.
George did it first, so his was sloppy.
So the issue, I think, with that is George was so enamored with those ideas, with the technical side, that he didn't stop to think when it was a good idea or not.
Exactly.
Because, like, Lord of the Rings came out basically contemporaneously to The Phantom Menace and those movies, and, like, they used CGI when they couldn't use anything else.
Yeah.
And so they have
not the first thing they went to.
Right, exactly. But in the Star Wars prequels, CGI was the first thing you do because they were pushing CGI instead of trying to use CGI to cover aspects they couldn't do otherwise.
Yeah.
And that's why you have times where people just they just don't know where they are or what they're doing or
But but that's just de rigueur now, it's like that's how you make movies. Well, even the most real set usually only exists to a point, and then it's CG'd in later.
Well, you've seen how they do the Mandalorian, where they've got like the horseshoe set, with just screens that completely surround it.
They
really,
basically
really cool.
We've gone full circle back to the backdrop.
Yeah,
it's just a giant television now instead of cardboard.
Big digital backdrop that can be anything.
Yeah, that stuff is super cool.
And it also it tracks the camera movement so that you can get like parallax with it.
Yeah, and makes the lighting look right instead of everything looking like it's lit from one place. It's really cool.
Yeah, no, lighting is so super important in anything.
And just without, because I'm assuming they didn't have like the cool video screen tech yet for this movie.
They did not.
They nail the lighting. Like the lighting that is on the actors is actually the lighting in the spaces they're in, which isn't true for the prequels.
But again, I mean that is typical of movies of that era. Like it's not like something they did uniquely well in this movie. It's just noticeable to us because we just finished watching.
Yeah, true.
Although one thing that was special for them was they finally figured out, and I don't know what exactly they did, one of you might know, this was the first time they were able to have the light from the lightsabers show on the people holding them.
Oh, I never. I didn't learn about that.
Like especially like in the snow scenes where there's all of that white, you see the lightsabers reflecting off it a lot, and it looks
beautiful.
Really good.
Yeah, and that wasn't some sort of post effect. That was, they found a way finally to have them give off the right colored light and still be usable in the fight. Like there's one very brief moment in episode 2 where they quite literally just gave Christopher Lee and
Yoda.
No.
Ewan McGregor.
Mace Windu.
The hair.
Oh, Ben.
Kid Fisto.
Anakin. What's his real name?
Hayden
Christensen.
Christian Haydenson.
We've gone through the whole entire cast of Star Wars.
Hayden Christensen. There's that one scene where they kind of zoom in on both of them and you can really see the light shining off their faces. It's because they literally just gave each of them a fluorescent fucking bulb, the right color. And that's why you can't see them fight with them, because they would have exploded and killed everyone.
Yeah.
But with this movie, they have a way to like have the stick light up. Because there is actually a stick there.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure LED technology has improved, so they could probably just make a big fucking thick plastic indestructible.
Well, that's
thing
the other
filled
trick.
with LEDs.
Is the stick has to be indestructible, because even with the prequels, the sticks generally survived one take. Like if you watch the like behind the scenes stuff, usually like after a take the sticks are just fucked. They are bent in so many directions. They are like they had to toss them and replace them constantly.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it was a mix of both the lighting and finding a stick that could stand up to the battering.
Yeah, another thing that I noticed, I actually noticed it more in episode 9, but I think I noticed it in this film
we're talking
too.
about 9 now.
Well, I think it relates to this. It relates to what Chris was talking about, because when they're fighting in the snow, you can see the snowflakes hitting the blade and evaporating, like little puffs of steam.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Yeah. That's nice.
Yeah, when they have the fight on the Death Star in episode 9.
Right, because it's raining or something.
It's raining and there's waves that keep crashing and the
waves
mist,
steam when they hit the light, which I think is like
I missed that.
That's a immersing detail.
Yeah, and it's good because it's one of those things I never missed as a kid. But as an adult, once they had it, it's like, oh yeah, these should be giving off light.
Yeah.
They're light
Sabers. And now in retrospect, all other Star Wars looks wrong. Damn it.
Oh no.
Oh, don't worry. George can
He doesn't own it anymore.
photocopy that shit back in there.
No, he'll do it himself anyway.
I have to say really quick, because me and my friend JJ spent like 10 minutes watching the first, like, the text scrawl. Like, we kept pausing it.
Text scroll?
The text scroll at the very beginning. Episode.
A long
The-
time ago.
Oh,
the galaxy
the-
far,
yeah,
far
yeah,
away.
The words.
I heard tech scroll. I was like,
No,
what?
text. We were like swapping between like the previous movies and like, the text scroll. So like
With the
like,
random capitalized words.
Right. Well, so like they've got like the plane that the text is on is like more vertical in this one.
Oh,
Ever
interesting.
so slightly more vertical as opposed
That's
to
for
more
the hope.
horizontal.
It's because of extra hope.
Yes.
It's going up like hope.
It's because it's the Force Awakens. No, wait.
They
I was gonna say, it was
also
like...
they also changed the fonts.
Did
It
they?
was
Okay.
slightly so the font in this one is closest to Return of the Jedi, and the ones before it's actually much thinner, and like they keep getting fatter.
Harder
over
to
time.
read, I bet.
They keep getting wider and wider over time.
Like
yeah,
Americans.
the first ones are harder. First ones are harder to see, and also it was weird noticing that like all the words are very justified, like on like the spacing wise.
Yeah.
Like,
Are
so-
they not usually justified?
No, they are. No, in all of them
they
they
are.
are, but I never noticed,
Oh.
like, because it keeps that crisp line
Yeah,
along
yeah.
the edges to have all the words on the right.
Yeah, but you're right.
side
There's
pushed-
occasionally weird
pushed
spacing
all
in the
way.
middle because
yeah,
of that.
the spacing is different on all of them.
Yeah, when I was in high school, I used to make mods for a game called Star Wars Dark Forces 2 Jedi Knight. I used to do mods for it, and one of the ones that I did, I had to recreate a Star Wars scroll for it. And yeah, like at the time I was doing it, I think only episode 1 was the most recent movie. So like, but I remember going through like, cassettes and being like, what's the font? Like trying to get the font right, and then, but even at that point, realizing like, man, these are vastly inconsistent. Like you'd think that like it would just be one thing.
Yeah, it's in like just a folder of fonts that they send you when you do a Star Wars movie.
But I will say, I feel like something I noticed last week when we were watching Revenge of the Sith is the total inconsistency between these movies in the word capitalization. Like, because they do this thing in some of them where they have all fully capitalized words, but not all of them. Like Revenge of the Sith, I don't think had any capitalized words, and this one had several. And then by the time we get to like Rise of Skywalker, it's like mostly all caps. There's
They're
like
just shouting.
yeah, and I don't know, it's just like that seems like, yeah, changing the font, changing the angle of the thing, like that's whatever. But like a consistency in or inconsistency in things like that, capitalizing different words, seems sloppy.
What did this one have any? Was I suppose like what First Order and
Yeah,
Resistance were
this one
probably.
did. This one
I
was
think
close.
Leia. I think they did Princess Leia or General Leia
Probably.
seeking her brother.
Oh, something else. Speaking of which, so we meet this guy in the first scene. This
Max
old man.
von Sydow.
I didn't even think he had a name.
That's the
That's
actor's
the
name.
actor. He is. I didn't expect him to only be in 30 seconds of the goddamn movie because he's one of the like biggest actors of the past 50 years.
Well, the other thing about this is it's implied that we should know him somehow.
I asked the same question: do I care about this old
It's
man?
really freaking weird because I was like, it's like this person has to be from somewhere because don't they specifically say like it's like Leia's old friend or something?
Yeah, it's like an old ally.
Yeah, they specifically say that he like knows Leia from way back, and then they don't have a cameo from the original Resistance.
Well, they tried to get Wedge, and he said no. He said this movie sounds like it would bore me.
Oh, that was gonna be Wedge.
Well, I don't know if that was going to be Wedge. I know they were going to originally have Wedge.
Wedge would have been perfect for that. Like
said
it
this
would have
would
been
be boring?
absolutely.
Oh,
perfect.
because if they killed Wedge, I'd have been bummed.
Yeah, that's true. That guy did die. But yeah, no,
That
like,
would have been really effective.
But it just it wasn't anyone. It was just some rando.
Yeah,
But, like,
no.
at the same time, like so it feels Because I often complain about the smallness of the Star Wars universe.
True. Me too. I'm guilty.
But at the same time, when we're introduced to a character who's specifically referred to as one of Princess Leia's old allies.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be super important, and you're like, I don't know who you are, you just got killed and it has no effect on me.
Right.
I think one of the problems with the sequels... Nice. One of the problems with the sequels that even this one has, although less so than 8 and 9, is that with original Star Wars and even prequel Star Wars, you know, there's all this extended universe shit that if you follow it, you're gonna get these extra little tidbits. But a normal human being can still just watch the movies and be like, I get it, mostly. I feel like when Disney bought it, they didn't understand how the EU works. And they felt like it's a necessity.
They just got rid of the EU.
Well, right, but I think they knew they were going to build a new one.
Yeah.
And their idea was like, it's a necessity, not an option. And that's, I think, an issue with these movies.
Well, if you make it a necessity, then you're going to sell more copies of it.
Or you're just going to piss a bunch of people off.
Well, there's that.
I don't care about this old man.
Exactly, neither do I. Like, I'm not going to go find out who he is. I'm sure I could look on Wikipedia right now and find out exactly who he is.
Yep.
But I don't care.
Yeah.
They do that again later with what's her name?
Maz Kanata.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, it's like, I'm gonna go see my old friend. And it's like, I don't know who you are.
See, that one actually don't.
Who are you?
That one doesn't bother me as much.
Well, she's a decent character. She's actually like interesting.
Yeah.
It's just all they had to do was not make it seem like it was gonna be a cameo.
Yeah.
Oh, see,
that's all they had to do.
See, for me, it's just like, because like in reality we actually know so little of Han's life before Episode 4.
Yeah.
Because Solo didn't exist yet. Like, I'm fine with him going as an old friend. And it's like, yeah, he has so many old friends I wouldn't know from Adam that I'm kind of okay with it. Whereas, like you said, with Leia, it's like, you feel like we should know that. Like,
it's in the context of a sequel to a movie that...
I know. I guess,
decades.
for whatever reason, it never bugged me. And again, like, maybe it's because, like you said, Maz shows up and immediately, like...
has presence and charisma.
Yeah,
Well,
which is
also-
incredible for a little CG toad.
Also, the old ally thing is in the crawl, referring to that myth.
That's right. That's
so,
right.
like, that is, like, the fact that it's specifically mentioned in the crawl, I feel like watching this movie the first time, you'd be like, oh, is it going to be Lando? Like, who is it? Nope, just some dude.
Well, they tried to get Lando, but he was like, oh, that sounds like it would bore me. And they were like, why does everyone keep fucking saying that?
See, he for me, I guess, again, it was like, I'd seen the trailer, so I knew, like, yeah, he'll be this. I pay way too much attention to trailers. But it really ruins movies sometimes. Because they give shit away that... Anyway, but, so I was like, oh, man, okay, yeah, it's Max von Sydow. Again, major actor. It's like, we'll find out so much about him in this movie. He's going to be really Okay, never mind.
There he goes.
I also, yeah.
Because, again, it's been 30 years. She could have old allies we haven't met because there's that gap.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
But again, it's like they didn't actually fill him in.
No, it's just in the if it's in the context of a Star Wars Return, your first character introduction of someone who is Leia's old ally.
Like it either needed to be someone we knew, or you needed to keep him alive so we could understand who
maybe
he
it
is.
was maybe it's
or not
Captain
play up
Antilles from the blockade runner.
He's dead.
Oh yeah, that's right. He got thrown against a wall.
Yeah, that's the guy Vader.
Yeah.
Never mind. Didn't even force choke. He choked.
Yeah, in that case, I don't know who it would be.
Jan Dodonna.
Don't know who that is.
He is one of the generals in Episode 4.
Oh, don't even care.
That's fine.
It should have been. It could have been. No, who could have been? It could have been Mon Mothma.
There we go.
Oh man, that's way too.
It would have been weird if she was still played by that guy, but couldn't
that guy?
By Max
Sydow.
Oh, I see.
If they recast Mon Mothma as Max Sydow,
Mon Mothma von Sydow,
that might be more confusing. I don't know.
Okay, speaking of actors who play things, because I really wanted to bring up this fact that because I'm just enamored with it because it's hilarious. We meet our new puppet BB-8.
Oh god,
BB-8. Oh, you mean round 2D2?
That's fine. But I didn't realize, and I read an article that somebody happened to notice the vocal consultants for BB-8 are Bill Hader and Ben Schwartz, which is wild, and I love that. I have literally no idea what they did, because I guess they originally were considering like just using an effect on voices, but it sounded too voicey. So they just had freaking Bill Hader and Ben Schwartz, hilarious comedians who are brilliant at what they do.
Just making
Yeah, it is interesting, and I hate to say it, but I definitely think I kind of like BB-8 more than R2.
BB-8's fine.
BB-8's got more personality.
He's not overused yet.
He can do a thumbs up.
I feel like later BB-8 gets overused in a way that gets very silly and
doesn't
campy.
R2-D2 kind of get overused?
Also true.
I mean...
Yeah, well, in the prequels, R2-D2
is just a Swiss Army knife.
Well, plus, you know what it is, honestly? The real problem isn't so much that BB-8 is better than R2-D2. It's that you can have BB-8 without fucking Anthony Davis in a fucking tinfoil suit shuffling after
That's
him.
true.
Like, BB-8, what the fuck is your problem?
Although I have to say, my overall thing I will say about this movie, and I'll elaborate, is
will you?
The comedy is really good in this movie.
I was worried.
I love John Boyega.
John Boyega is
he's
great.
fantastic.
Like my favorite joke in the movie that just like this is to J.J. Abrams' credit. It landed well. The timing was fucking perfect.
Yeah,
with the Falcon reveal. Fucking great joke.
Oh, that's garbage?
Yeah.
It's good.
And then the pan, it's so good.
Especially because the ship they show, in the very split second you get to see it, does look a lot nicer than the Falcon.
So the Falcon joke's great, but I also have to say, I thought that C-3PO's jokes were good in this movie.
Just enough 3PO.
Just enough, but like
you may not recognize me because of the red arm.
It's very 3PO.
Yeah.
It's very funny and not obnoxious.
No.
Like how I gotta credit Abrams and Kasdan for making a likable, funny.
Yeah, Kasdan knows his character.
Makes C-3PO great again.
But it's like we said, like prequel 3PO sucks.
Yeah.
He doesn't shut up. He's constant. He's awful. By the end of the prequels, I fucking hated 3PO.
You could cut all of his scenes and it would change literally nothing.
He's he's a sexy lamp, except not sexy.
And
not emitting any light.
Says you.
Yes,
his eyes glow.
Ooh. When they're on.
I gotta say, makes no sense to me in any media when robots have glowing eyes, because the eyes are supposed to absorb light. So glowing eyes is just gonna interrupt the light that's supposed to come in. I know.
Plus it shows that they're on.
I know, it still bugs me.
I turned on C-3PO.
Yikes. My favorite comedy moments. First off, oh my. Every time Kylo throws a tantrum,
that's
fucking
great.
hot.
Yeah.
But then when the stormtroopers see, and they're like, nope, we're not going that way, and they turn back around.
Not paid enough for this.
Fucking excellent.
It is great.
The Jedi mind trick that Rey does to get out of prison.
To help get Daniel Craig to release her.
What did you say?
Yeah, I thought that was a good
bit. And it
bit.
builds with intensity. What the fuck did you say? And she's like, go.
I'm gonna tighten those.
Let me the fuck out and get out of here.
Although, two things I didn't like about that scene are, one, that when it worked, it made a whooshing sound.
That's right, it did.
Which
That
was
was
stupid.
No, that was so you know it was working.
And two, that she just intuitively knows how to do a Jedi mind trick.
Yeah, I was surprised because it seemed like she was kind of learning from what Kylo was doing. She was kind of reflecting it back, but so she didn't see anyone do a mind trick.
But she knows the stories of I almost said Mark Hamill, of Luke Skywalker. She's like, oh my god, Luke Skywalker's real. I thought he was a legend. Oh my god, the Han Solo. So she's probably heard all about.
Yeah, that's my question, because it seems like 30 years ago, all this stuff happened, and there are people who are really freaking long-lived, who have living memory of all this shit that happened, and yet there are tons of people who are like, the Jedi are myths, and you're like, why do you think this?
Every old person lived through it.
That was a problem with the original trilogy, though. It was like the Jedi had been wiped out for a couple of decades, and people were like, "Yeah, whatever."
I can explain it in both cases.
Do it.
I'm gonna explain. I'm gonna let you guys in.
Two sentences.
Okay, number one.
Explain it to
number
us,
one. In the original series, the Empire went through fucking incredible length through their propaganda machine to both discredit and then later just erase the Jedi so that, like, you know, no mentions of... They were like Stalin, right? You know, just airbrushing the Jedi out of all the pictures.
Chirrut seems to know in Rogue One.
I'm sure, yeah, but again, I'm sure some people do know. I'm sure lots of people know. It's just that...
If you go on to Space Wikipedia, you can't find it.
Yeah.
So it's just your crazy
and like,
uncle is telling you.
You know, and like Han
Chirrut
Solo's case, you know,
him.
like, he grew up on a shitty-ass planet.
Yeah.
You know,
on the Outer Rim.
A planet that was under the Empire's control, so he probably... All the media he got was probably Imperial propaganda.
Well, and also, once he was a smuggler, he was mostly working in Hutt space, which... We didn't even see in the prequels. The Republic didn't have a foothold there, so Jedi weren't a common sight.
And then for the case of like Rey not believing or not knowing that the Jedi were real, she grew up her entire life practically on this backwoods planet
With Simon Pegg.
with giant Simon Pegg.
Hot.
So, like, she probably, like, everything she knows about the Jedi is probably just what she's heard. And
from that old lady that also scrubs pieces.
Yeah,
with
the
her.
other piece scrubber. Where, like, you know, people coming in and out of town and they're probably just shooting the shit. And she's like, oh, yeah, the Jedi, that sounds cool.
One of the better moments in this film, actually, too, relates to that in a way, is, like, the idea of how you learned about people is the fact that Finn and Rey have different ideas of Han Solo. You know, it's like, the rebel hero? What? No, the smuggler.
Finn has no idea what a Wookiee is.
No, that's true. Well, you can say...
Okay, I think, based on this film, I think Chewbacca may be the last Wookiee, the last living Wookiee.
I'm sure something will prove you wrong at some point.
Well, I don't know, because here's the or at least the only, like, maybe the other ones are just, like, in hiding or just, like, almost wiped out, because you would think the Wookiees, who were a huge part of the Clone Wars and
building the Death Star or something,
and
right?
helping out Yoda, and you know, they were all in on fighting, you know, the good fight.
Sorry.
We never see
nice.
any Wookiees fighting for either the rebels in the original trilogy.
We saw some in Solo working in the mines.
But that's
pre-episode 4.
That's pre-episode 4.
Shit.
I'm thinking that maybe the Empire. We
Work
know
the
that
Wookiees
they enslaved them. Maybe like they just got fed up with the constant armor tearing off, which they did do in Solo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, to make that line make sense in episode 4. And we're just like, you know what? These Wookiees are more trouble than they're worth. Throw them in the chute. Put them down the chute.
That is very plausible and super depressing.
It's very dark. But like you would think that we would see Wookiees hanging out with the rebels. You'd think we'd see
anywhere, just anywhere.
So it's quite possible
Maybe
that like
somebody herded them all into the sea.
And like, don't forget, Chewie in Solo was also a prisoner of the Empire.
Yeah.
And the only reason he's not still a prisoner of the Empire or dead is because Han helped him escape.
Well,
they helped each other escape.
That's my day ruined.
Oh.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Jake.
Ooh.
I have an important note here.
Good.
Please say it's a happy one.
Like, it is. So we we were talking about how Finn, you know, like they're like, oh, like the training and stuff, and like, you know, we were joking about like what do you have, like stormtrooper therapists and stuff, and we decided no, but they do have Palpatine self-help tapes. I will show you your true power.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I hate it.
Look inside yourself.
Oh god, someone call Robot Chicken.
Yeah, another reason I don't like. I wish they talked at least a little bit about the politics in this film is it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it doesn't make sense to me why the First Order is so big and powerful. But I would understand that if it was explained that, like, no, like, what I think should be Star Wars is they kill the Emperor, they kill Vader, they destroy the second Death Star and a big chunk of the fleet, and the Empire carries on. And it's just they elect a new Emperor, they carry on, they're still just doing the same thing, they just don't, you know, they're not as powerful as they were. And that I would understand, because then you could be like, okay, no, that's why we're still rebels. That's why we're still, in these little shitty camps and we don't have good stuff. It's because we're still fighting the Empire 30 years later. But no, they specifically say that there is a republic now, and the republic supports the resistance. But what is it? Like,
so that's, I think these were cutscenes, because when they blow up the Hosnian system, they zoom in on that one woman in particular on the balcony who's like, "Egads!" She was supposed to have a lot more scenes, and those scenes probably would have fleshed this out, because she was Leia's liaison to the New Republic.
Yeah, liaison.
So the thing that's not clear in this is that what it is officially the New Republic and the First Order have like a non-aggression treaty or whatever.
Like the Cardassians.
Right. So that's why they have to secretly
damn.
give money and succor to the resistance, but can't openly support them.
See, that seems ridiculous. Like
It does.
That's dumb.
It is.
It would make. I think my idea makes more sense.
It does.
Say that, there just still is the Empire, and they're not as powerful, but they've been off in some far off part of space that no one ever goes to, and they've been building up.
Yeah.
They haven't been building the fucking Star Killer base because that's stupid. They've been building a fleet of other ships. Star Destroyers, new Star Destroyers, double Star Destroyers stacked on top of one.
Kind of like,
Three
so you're saying
Star Destroyers
so
in
you're
a trench
saying
coat pretending to be
A TIE
person.
fighter, but the wings are Star Destroyers.
So what you're saying, Jake, what you're saying is you wanted it to be episode 9 from the off.
Wow.
Episode 9.
What a
Well,
monster.
yeah. Well, actually, yes, but
more explicit.
yeah, but
just do that.
That would make sense because it's like it could be
Because
like
also this way, episode 9 comes out of fucking nowhere.
it's like Poe is not going. Fuck this whole map to Skywalker thing because that's stupid. What Poe is doing, he's just been on the mission that just discovered they were checking out this report of some kind of action going on in the far reaches of the galaxy. Poe is the lone survivor of the reconnaissance fleet that went there and discovered the Imperial
and then
buildup.
He puts the plans in BB-8.
And he puts the plans in BB-8.
And then the rest of the movie happens.
And then R2 just always knew where Luke was. We don't need the fucking map. R2 has the map. Just give R2 the map.
Yeah.
And he's still shut off. And then...
Okay, but what would you say to needing another piece of another map in a couple of movies?
When Rey like dusts him off or something, and he wakes up because he knows that she's the Force.
He knows she's the Force.
Luke programmed R2 only to turn on if
in presence of the Force.
In presence of his old lightsaber. Because
it's already there.
Because Luke gave the lightsaber to Maz Kanata to be like, listen, he flew his ship around on Bespin and scanned for it. I don't know.
I have an idea. Instead of it being the fucking Vader saber, it's the one he built for Jedi.
It's the one he built. Good fucking point. Yeah, exactly. When he swore off the Jedi, he went to Maz Kanata because they're old friends, as we know. Went to Maz Kanata and was like, listen, I'm going to this fucking place. I'm not going to tell you where it is. And like, listen, I need you to hold on to this. I'm swearing off all the Jedi shit because I fucked up. I'm giving you my lightsaber. And listen, don't give it to anybody. Just keep it locked up. But someday, under some circumstance, you might find the impulse to do something with it. And if that happens, you know what? I trust you, Maz, because we're such old friends. We've been friends for 30 years.
You have a statue of yourself, and that's awesome.
And she's like, I'll do it. Eyes big, eyes small. Puts the thing in a box. That's it. And then Rey shows up at Maz's just for some other shit, right? Because they're trying to find the resistance or whatever reason they went there. And in Maz being 1,000-year-old bartender is like, I've seen these eyes before. Those are the eyes of a Jedi. Here you go. Have Luke's vape. And then there you go. And it's still just R2 that just knows where Luke is the whole time, and he's just programmed to only turn on if the lightsaber is close to him.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Fucking A! I fixed the fucking movie. It wasn't really that broken, but it's still dumb in certain areas.
Somebody should really be paying you for this shit.
I really should. Did I tell you?
It turns out almost anybody can make a better overall plot for this.
I mean, yeah.
Wow, way to minimize what Jake just did.
So here's the thing, like,
wow, I would expect that from Jake.
We keep talking about the goofiness of these plots. I mean, what it really is this is the first and probably only Star Wars movie that's a character piece. Like the other ones have characters, but they're not.
I don't think there was really good characterization in this movie.
But I mean, like they had.
Yeah, I mean, Poe and Finn are gay, and Rey is kind of gay.
No, they're not. They're all straight. Don't worry.
I mean,
don't worry. You don't want to. You don't want to alienate.
They get a raging case of the not a gays in episode 9 for Poe.
Oh, they really
Thank
do.
God, dude. That scene.
They're like, Colin Carey
scene,
Russell. We gotta make sure people know he's not gay.
That fucking scene when they fucking reunite. And Poe and Finn, they run to each other, and he's like, Poe, you're okay! And he's like, Finn, you made it! This is great! You're wearing my fucking coat! And he kind of gets a boner, and he's like, oh my god, I'm so sorry, do you want it back? And he's like, no, it looks great on you.
It's covered in jizz.
And then he bites his fucking lip looking at him. And I was like, oh god!
Look,
do it!
I will be the first person to admit I realized I was not as straight as I thought because of Oscar Isaac in this movie.
Dude, Oscar Isaac.
Jesus.
Yeah. And can we just talk? I know we're not talking explicitly about the sequels, but
God damn it! Are we still talking about the sequels?
well, I'm going to bring them up because
I mean,
I feel like they had such a great character in Poe in this movie.
Yep.
A likable character,
And then they undid that.
A potential new Luke Skywalker or Han Solo level character.
I think he's too good. I think they made him way too good a pilot.
Whatever. No, I can imagine he's a badass pilot.
He destroyed 10 TIE fighters in 8 seconds.
I have no problem with that.
Much.
Wedge could have done
that didn't bother me too much.
But what does bother me a lot is that in the next movie and then the following movie, they make him this petulant fucking...
I'm gonna do what I want. I don't follow orders. I hate that shit.
Getting get all our bombers destroyed.
Jeez. I fucking hate that. Is that the next movie or?
Yeah. The next one he has to learn. He has to learn how to follow orders.
Then in the third one, he's just there for quippy remarks and shit, and it's just.
And also they have to.
So he becomes Han Solo. You just said it. He's Han Solo. That's what happens.
They even shoehorn in the fact that he was at some point a smuggler.
Oh yeah.
For 2 months
and
or something.
Wants to lick Carrie Russell's Power Ranger suit.
Who doesn't?
Well,
That's a great
question mark. What?
But
for real though, you said Han Solo level. Yep, they fucking delegated him to nothing but quips by movie 3. You're right.
Speaking of Han,
Han's in this
Were
movie.
we?
Well, no, but we haven't yet. And he's in this movie.
No, yeah, he's in it. Good for him. He phones it right the fuck in.
But it's
fine.
great.
No, I think he actually. Compared to other movies he clearly didn't want to be in, I feel like he kind of wanted to be in this one.
Compared to other movies,
well, the other thing too is I think that
in.
the phoning it in, which I don't know if I'd classify as phoning it in. I'd classify it as him acting as Harrison Ford in a film.
Yeah,
which is great. Harrison Ford's a great character.
It's very Han Solo. I don't think there's anything that the Han Solo in this movie does that's really out of character.
Yeah, no. But I mean, you look at say Indiana Jones. 4, he doesn't want to be there. Blade Runner 2049, he kind of doesn't want to be there.
Did any of us fucking want to be there for Crystal Skull?
Well, no, but what I'm saying is, as far as movies, he clearly was just showing up for the paycheck.
I think.
And again, I think it's. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I think it's because, of course, he knew he was gonna die. I was amazed when people were shocked that he died, because the minute I heard he'd signed on for this movie, I said, oh man, they're gonna kill Han.
Yeah, but you see, that's
the only way they got him
that's
back.
Because of behind the scenes stuff. In universe, if you were just watching these movies and didn't know that he wanted
fucking hated being in Star Wars, apparently.
Well, I don't know if he hated it. He just wanted his character killed off on screen, and supposedly Lawrence Kasdan also wanted to kill him off in Jedi. That's another thing I read. So he finally got his wish to kill his favorite character.
That's so weird.
Give
I get
a heroic end and complete a character.
But I don't know. I think that was. I think as far as in these movies go, I think it's very shocking. I think it's a good. It is as shocking as
I'm Your Father.
No.
Oh well.
It's as shocking as Obi-Wan's death in Episode 4. I would say.
I mean, I didn't expect it, but I didn't know any of the background shit.
But more climactic than Obi-Wan.
But more climactic.
Yeah. And more meaning. It's a moving scene.
It's as shocking as Porkins' death in episode 4.
Great. Excellent. Thank you, Jake. I also think a lot of it you got to put on. They make Kylo Ren very interesting because you want to see what like where he's going to fall, what side he's going to land on. Because you can see, like, he even says 85 times with no nuance, but it's fine because we love him, saying, like, I'm conflicted. I don't know if I can do this dark side thing. Yeah. And Snoke being like, just do the dark side thing. Like, I'm trying to teach you. Damn it.
Well, even Snoke was kind of like, this is going to be pretty tough, buddy. Just so you know, like, when confronting his father. Like, Snoke was definitely like, yeah, no one's been challenged like this before, dude. This is
I don't know if you can do it, then you're on. Then you're all on board.
And I did really like. I liked the writing. I don't really like the writing in most of the movie, but like I did like the writing in that scene where he is being like, you know, it's like I can't keep doing this. The pain is so much. Like, you know, it's like help me get rid of this pain. And, you know, his answer to that is to kill his father because that was the problem.
And it's so interesting that the big confrontation is with Han. His, like, normie dad. Yeah. Not his Force-sensitive, not quite Jedi mother.
Well, his mother would kick his ass, that's why.
That's true, yeah.
But one thing I do not like about that scene at all was the very deceptive filming. Because they have... So they're obviously spending the whole time, the whole conversation is building up to, like, the turn. Where
that scene being the one on the bridge?
On the bridge, on the bridge. And, like, Han gets close, and Kylo Ren, like, is handing over his lightsaber and all this stuff. And, like, the whole time you're like, oh, he's going... Yeah. It's like, it was hold sideways the whole time until you're like, oh, that's a safe way to hand over a saber.
It's pointing another way.
So, obviously, you know, he's going to take it, and then it just instantly is turned and stabs Han. Like...
Well,
I don't know. This sounds like the conspiracy theorists who were saying that Darth Maul's lightsaber grew and shit. Yeah. Come on, he just went like this and then did it.
The way it was filmed is the entire time he's handing the saber sideways, and then like all of a sudden it just stabs him. Like,
when he's got out those side.
I was gonna say that. That's fine. Go ahead.
No,
you got it. You got it.
It could have been, but it wasn't because it was way too long.
Let her say it. Go on.
He's got little side things on his lightsaber that would have been facing right towards his
yes,
dad.
But that's not what stabbed. That's not what stabbed through him.
Yeah, but no, that's what they should have done.
Maybe he can control it. Maybe he can like push a button and it makes that one shoot out. We don't know. Maybe they all can get big. We don't know.
Don't they kind of cut though to him starting to turn it at one point?
So he's not turning it, but he's not letting it go.
Right.
So Han grabs it and he's like, you know, basically being like, I will help you. And so he starts to take it, and then you see that Kylo is not letting go of it, and there's like a little bit of a struggle. And then while it's still sideways, it goes off and stabs Han through the chest, even though that wouldn't have happened. The details of it aren't as important as the fact that it was actively deceptive filmmaking, where they are showing one thing actively and then they just don't follow through with it.
Yeah, they don't show us the transition to how did this get
I just think it's shot out of his
better
side
or
thing.
cornier if he had embraced Han Solo without showing us the lightsaber, embraced him, and then we hear the sound of the blade, and then it pops out of Han's back. And
honestly,
it would have been cornier, but I would have liked
it. That's actually kind of what I thought happened.
That's sort of how I remembered it too.
So
yeah, no.
Yeah, I was like, he hugs him, and
would have been totally fine. Would have solved my problem completely. I am more okay with not showing a weapon and then having it kind of just appear out of like cartoon pocket space.
Yeah, because you know they
stab someone, right?
As
opposed to they actively showed it in a safe position, and then it goes off without having moved and hurt someone. This is such a bad point to die
It's like Chris's point from I think last week when Obi-Wan picked up the gun again to be like, gun, and then threw it off.
He could have just been holding it the whole time.
There was a time where Finn threw a gun down so he could run over and help Rey. Why did he throw the gun down? It was at the end in the forest, and Kylo Ren picks up Rey and throws her against a tree, and Finn is like, well, I don't need to be armed, I'm just gonna die, I guess. Throws the gun down and runs over to Rey.
Finn's
gonna die.
Doesn't matter, why did he do that?
Finn's a good guy, but he is really bad at soldiering. Like,
He's
I don't
a
know.
stormtrooper, of course he
was
is.
a janitor, and he was great at it.
Wait, okay, so he was a janitor, and then they trained him for field operations to go murder people? Or, like, what was his job?
Presumably...
Why was he a janitor who understood how the systems work and how to turn them on and off? It was a planet-sized weapon. I don't think you know the big picture. I don't understand what room to go into in, like, Boston to turn off the traffic lights.
Oh, you don't?
No!
We all know where that is.
It doesn't...
That's why Boston traffic is so
He
terrible.
emptied those trash cans so well.
I always presumed the sanitation thing was like, you know, teenage bullshit. Like, they gotta... part of the stage of, like, training them up is like, here, you go shovel shit for 3 years as a teenager. That'll learn you. Lightsabers, though, reminds me. We get yet a new form of lightsaber dueling.
Not enough flips.
I was okay with
Thank
The
God for
line
lack
Jake
of
said
flips.
yesterday. I'll give credit
I
to
was
Jake.
happy with the no flips.
Like, I think what they've done with this one is they found a nice happy medium where they're not quite as lacking in verve as the originals, while also not being choreographed by the Bolshoi Ballet. They're
Pretty, though.
brutal.
Yeah.
They still feel dangerous.
Well, it felt to me like a fight between inexperienced fighters. Like all the fights in the prequels are super choreographed, which I think looks stupid, but the in-universe reason is that everyone is just so skilled with it that they just have intuitive sense of how to fight.
Yeah.
And, you know, in the originals, it was like, you know, you had old man fight, which like this fight to me felt closest, I think, to
Jedi?
Well, I was gonna say to like Luke and Vader in episode 5, where like Vader obviously is just kind of toying with him, as we talked about, but you know, Luke thinks he's doing really good, and I'm sure Kylo and Rey and Finn thought they were doing really good, but we look at it as just like, no, they're just kind of swinging at each other.
Well, and of course, Finn is injured. Not Finn. Kylo is injured, which isn't helping him any.
And he keeps punching it because that's how you help.
Well, I think the idea there...
Punching those midichlorians. Get to work, guys!
Well, see, I once heard someone suggest, this, again, is not a specific canon thing, this was a fan theory, is that what he's doing is he's purposely hurting himself more to make himself angrier so he can tap better into the dark side.
I mean, that sounds like a thing edgelord Kylo Ren would do.
Right, exactly.
It would also be ineffective.
The boy who throws a tantrum when people tell him, like, oh, something happened. Throw my lightsaber around.
I did
As
appreciate...
opposed to the boy who lived, which is like what they call Harry Potter. I kind of like that. Is the boy who threw tantrums.
I did really appreciate that Kylo Ren's character actually does seem to revel in dark emotions in a way that, like, none of the others do. Like,
we all had 9 Inch Nails phases. Okay?
Well, no, but it's just like, oh yeah, you know, Palpatine's so evil, sitting there just kind of chilling out the whole time. Like, he doesn't, like, he's just kind of like, I don't care if you die or not, I'm evil. But it's like Kylo is actually, like, angry and vindictive and, like, actually lives these bad emotions in a way that the quote-unquote dark side claims to be, like, you know, sourced from, but doesn't actually ever, like, do.
Like, Kylo to me is what Anakin should have been like.
Especially the mopey teenager shit.
You know, and like the fact that he, like, the scene where he is sort of like, I guess, praying to or conversing with Vader's
writing in his diary.
You know, like that shows like that conflict that he's going through. Like he wants to be as bad as Vader,
which is so stupid because you almost want like Vader's ghost to appear. I don't care which one you want. Any Sebastian Shaw, fucking
the one cut to pieces.
Yeah, you know, just shows up. It's like, you know, I converted at the end, right? Like this was a bad. Okay,
that's the one thing that people might still know about me. In fact, okay. Here's a question, because I know we see Ren do a whole bunch of cool looking shit. Like he stops a laser in midair,
that was cool.
And he keeps grabbing people and freezing them in like time so he can grab and like manipulate them. And I don't think we ever see him do that again in the rest of the movies.
I don't remember, to be honest.
Yeah, I liked those utilizations of the powers because they like make sense. Like,
well, and the thing too, though, is it's also because it's stuff we've never seen before.
Yeah,
it gives the suggestion that he's like, he might be crazy powerful in a way no one we've seen because no one else has done this shit.
I always see it just as like the dark side and the Jedi were not very creative. Like, they were very dogmatic about how like their stuff worked, you know. Like, typically, like, the dark side is really just all about like power,
Lightning.
like
the lightning.
Mostly lightning.
yeah, mostly. Well, because I mean that's a perfect representation of power, right? It's just pure pain. Like, the dark side would love that, but they wouldn't necessarily like. It's like, why would you freeze someone when you can just pick them up and throw them against a wall?
Yeah.
And the Jedi are all about like, this is how you do it. These are the rules. And so like all
Also
of their powers are things that are literally trained to you from, you know, your master who's training you the way they were trained. And, you know, it's like, it's very like regimented that way.
Like, they definitely needed a kick in the teeth. They just got way bigger a one than they expected.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely in the Jedi are garbage.
Oh, they're the worst
category.
Like, we haven't released our episode 3 yet, but I go on a tear about for the Force in general.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Chris going on a tear?
Never.
Chris leaving all that in the episode.
I've got that jump 30-second button. I'm good.
No, but you'll agree with me, I think. On
no,
this
I'm
one,
sure.
so.
No, I'm sure. No.
You're gonna wear that button out, dude.
Every single time the Jedi go to a planet with like slaves and they do nothing, they like, it's like, how can you root for them at this point? Like, they have tons of money. They've got the nicest apartment on the city planet. Which, if cities are expensive to live in, I'm pretty sure the city planet is going to be pretty pricey.
Being fair, that's Amidala's apartment. We never actually see the Jedi living quarters.
Is it? I thought that was the Jedi Council's, like...
No, that's specifically Amidala's apartment.
Well, they also have the whole fucking Jedi...
They do have a temple, yes. So that's a bit much.
Like a temple, man. That's like, you know... when they talk about like they build a church and like, oh, it's a chapel, but it's a fucking cathedral. Jesus.
Yeah, no, they definitely like, they never should have gotten as close to the state as they did.
Yeah,
and that's why they, why you fail or whatever.
Well, good, because they're all dead.
Most of them, yeah. I meant to mention earlier, Jake. I take it you haven't seen any of Star Wars Visions yet.
I don't even.
We don't have Disney Plus.
There is, in fact, at one point a double Star Destroyer, so you called it again.
Nice.
Like a sandwich. You get one on top, you have one on the bottom, and then
you
put like pastrami.
Sorry, no, it's closer to Jake's idea of a TIE fighter with Star Destroyers for wings.
No. I want to keep talking about Han Solo until I run out of Han Solo stuff.
Well, you heard a lot about Han Solo then.
No, this is not all Han Solo.
Oh, okay.
So. No, he said the line. He said, I've got a bad feeling
about
it.
I want to see this.
And
I almost caved.
I like that he was in his own ship that he knows, and he doesn't understand what, like, if I was in my house and I heard a specific door open, which happened to be the door with the monsters behind it, I wouldn't be like, I've got a bad feeling about this. I'd be like, oh no.
The monsters.
Like...
The Rathtars?
Oh,
I
dear.
love them so much.
They were cool. I actually like them. For a weird, violent alien,
and I also just love that Han has them because he's transporting them.
Yeah.
And apparently most of his crew died capturing them.
Excellent.
Yeah. And it's another example of, our space heroes don't know how doors work.
Yeah.
Which happens a lot, where they, like, open the wrong doors or close doors when they're trying to open.
The one thing I liked about that scene, and this is an example where I appreciated that they didn't give backstory because I didn't really need it, but I thought the two gangs that are trying to apparently get their money back from Han Solo, who ripped them off.
Typical.
I thought they were interesting gangs, and I liked that we didn't need any more information about them. I didn't need to know who they were. So it's things like that, I always think about how, like, in episode 4, it's that offhanded remark about, oh, you fought in the Clone Wars. You fought in the Clone Wars. And then, like, George Lucas he couldn't help himself. He had to make 3 fucking movies to explain that line.
And a series.
We'll just wait until these gangsters get their own shows.
Well, you know that they will, probably. If George had anything to do with it.
Well, so I remember, interestingly, in the build-up to these movies, people thought that at least Kanji Club was going to be way more significant because the guys who played them were the, stunt coordinators and stunt team from... what was it? Some very major, action film that had just come out and was really big. It was kind of, over here it was kind of considered an indie film because it was an import from somewhere in Asia. I unfortunately don't remember where specifically.
Is that the one in the apartment building?
Yes, The Raid, maybe?
Might be The Raid. I think
Yeah, so they were like the stunt team from The Raid, and people were like, oh man, they're going to be like some big part of all this. And it was like, nope, they were just a cameo. It's interesting watching people assume things and then seeing what actually happens.
You know what they say about assuming? People do it all the time.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
Another Han note. How intentional is it for him to look like a pathetic has-been?
Oh, it's got to be completely intentional because he is at this point.
Right. Like, but he's still like, they still seem to kind of treat him with a weird reverence. Like,
well, I think if you look at this is probably the only Star Wars movie that kind of tries to work on multiple levels.
Yeah.
And like, they're in a way, Finn and Rey are people who've grown up on stories about these people. And they built him up in their minds, and that's why they kind of treat him like that. But we, who sort of actually know the stories they've only heard the, like, telephone versions of.
Right. So we know that it's absolutely true.
We know
it did all those, that he did do this, like...
But we also saw the, like...
intense stuff.
They got the whitewashed version.
Yeah.
They don't have the, like, scenes where he's kind of an asshole.
I'm only here for the money.
That never happened in their version.
I'm being a creep and cornering Leia.
I think
Seriously.
Han largely blundered his way into becoming a hero.
Oh, exactly.
Because, like, he randomly got hired to deliver some people.
Yep.
Because of that, he got stuck on the Death Star. He got talked into with the promise of money, rescuing the princess. The one, like, legitimately heroic thing he does is come and bail Luke out at the Death Star at the end.
Yeah.
And that's probably because Chewie talked him into it.
Almost definitely.
And then we have Empire, where the whole time he's just trying to leave. He helped. His heroic act in that is helping Luke, right? Saving him from the frozen. But then, like, everything else that happens just happens because of the circumstances. And then in Return of the Jedi, he's frozen for half the movie, and he might as well not have been there for the other half. So I don't think he really has earned his legendary status as much as people think.
Well, and that's actually one of the sort of something that was like that they actually, the better writers of Star Trek Wars novels did in like the 90s was there were several stories where Han was kind of grappling with the fact that he didn't fit anymore once the war was over. Like, everyone else was like building, Leia helped build up the New Republic. Luke was going to build up the Jedi. He was like, I'm that smuggler that's married to the president. The fuck do I do with myself now?
I think that would have been enough.
They're trying to make me not wear the stripy pants anymore because they say they're not nice enough.
Exactly. But yeah, like, to me, everything that happens with him between this and now, wow, those words didn't make sense. Between Jedi and Force Awakens, like, yeah, I could totally, like, honestly, I could even see, even if their son hadn't turned out to be Space Hitler, like, the marriage probably would have fallen apart. It just was exacerbated by the fact that their son ended up being a piece of shit.
And Han.
Yeah, like, Han's not a great guy, like,
I guess in that, I don't know. It's a little weird that, like, Han Solo, like, is apparently so known, but, like, Luke is almost, like, not real. Because, like, I mean, Rey specifically was like, oh, you're the Han Solo who ran the Kessel Run in 14 parsecs.
12.
Got it wrong. But then it's like Luke blew up 2 Death Stars. One Death Star. Helped blow up a second one. And that first Death Star was probably a more impressive feat, dropping a bomb down into, like, a 3-foot wide vent
rat sized.
Thank you.
I mean, he also So killed Vader and the Emperor. Well, Vader killed the Emperor, but only because Luke was there. But then again, I guess they would have just blown up.
So...
They would have just blown up anyway when the Death Star
true.
blew up.
Luke
so really, Luke didn't have to be there at all.
Luke actually just totally claimed credit too. He was like, "Yeah, I killed Darth Vader," and
he saved his father. Like, I will actually, and that's
a personal victory.
I know, but I think it's important. And I think that was his goal. Like, he was there to save his father because he knew the good was still there. But yeah, he could have just not been there.
I can't explain Rey, but certainly I could see with Finn, like, they probably don't want the Stormtroopers talking about the Rebels anyway.
Yeah.
And they're definitely not wanting them talking about the Jedi. So, like, maybe if they somehow get any bits and pieces, like, you'll hear about the normal people. They're not going to let you hear about Luke Skywalker.
I just kind of feel like Rey on not Tatooine would have heard about, like, because, like...
I feel like Rey just doesn't talk to people a lot.
She might not.
I mean, look who she's surrounded by.
Yeah.
I gotta say, so speaking of not Tatooine, I actually really like that planet. I don't know, I don't care that it's the same as Tatooine. Whatever.
It is a very good version of Tatooine.
And
Jakku.
I love the like the ship graveyard. I thought those were really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just think
why didn't they live in the
planet.
ships?
Well, she lived in
didn't she?
in a walker. Didn't she?
But the whole city should have been in the ships.
That would have been cool.
I mean, think about
Maybe they're
how
too dangerous.
Superheated the interior must get during the height of the day in the desert.
You just
metal.
go in the middle of it.
Yeah, you're probably right. I don't know.
Yeah, if
People
you're
are
on
dumb.
the sides, it'd be bad.
There's those metal-eating birds always chomping.
Oh, I love that
chomping
bird.
away.
The
You can't
weird,
get any sleep.
the weird not vulture. Sorry, last Han stuff.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I just needed to focus on something. I have too many notes. It was maybe someone had his nose cut scenes or something, but they kept after halfway through the movie, they just kept treating Han Solo as Rey's adoptive dad. They kept being it's I think Kylo says he'll let you down, he lets down, let down
all
me.
His kids, me.
And it's just weird that they kind of harp on this whole he's your father figure now when they exchange two words.
He offered her a job. I think the fact that he sees the potential in her kind of makes automatically parental role he wants to nurture.
Well, I was gonna say, and also when you have no daddy,
it's just out of left field.
Any daddy,
and and it's not.
It
doesn't
earned. It feels like they.
Definitely not earned.
Yeah, but I don't know how else unless they made the movie much longer and had much more stuff for them to do.
Yeah, well, I don't need more stuff.
Yeah,
no. It's I don't. But I don't think it needed to even be referenced in the first place. Didn't even have to be wasted words. With Kylo mentioning
but we had to hear about that chip he had on his shoulder.
Yeah, no, it's not necessary.
Maybe it's just Kylo being a dick and not even there isn't a father figure.
There was more than one.
It's just Kylo being I have daddy issues. So I'm gonna bring this up all the fucking time.
There was more than one reference.
Well, also
from Kylo?
at the end,
I don't think it was from Kylo. I think it was.
When the Falcon returns to the Rebel base. Who does Leia hug? Not Chewie, who's just lost his best friend of 40 years.
Yeah, the girl she's never met.
I
said the same thing while we were watching.
She felt her pain through the Force.
It's
that's
okay. I don't know if that definitely wasn't her. Really, it should have been
Chewie.
It should have been Chewie.
Here's what it really is. Chewie didn't just lose his best friend. Chewie just lost the guy he owed a life debt to, and he can finally get on with whatever it is he wants. Which apparently is owning the Falcon with Rey now.
One thing I really loved is that everyone seems to like Chewbacca.
That's what they
should.
Oh, absolutely.
Mascanatas calls him her boyfriend.
Yes.
I love them.
Yes,
I like that Wookiee.
I loved that so much.
I forgot about that.
But I'm also imagining that Kylo Ren also liked Chewbacca.
I wonder.
He was
the
the uncle he liked, and it was just he's oh my dad, I'm so bad. Hey Chewie up there, how you doing?
Dude, can you imagine being a little kid on his shoulders?
Wee!
Big as fuck. That'd be
amazing. And now imagining toddler Kylo Ren climbing Chewie by pulling in his ear. Chewie's oh yeah, great. Look how your father likes that.
Yeah, I just imagine it wasn't killing his father that finally drove Kylo all the way into the dark side. It was being shot by Chewie.
Yes.
It's I can't believe you've done this. I am going evil
There's
now.
nothing good in this world.
I love the fucking the doctor patronizing him when he's being a wimp.
Yes, I'm sure you are very brave. That does
They're gonna
sound
bang
scary.
later, that's why.
Oh.
Yeah, there were some Pulaski vibes, but I don't know who that makes Chewbacca.
Ooh, Worf.
Poor Worf.
This is a really interesting comment from my friend. Was Kylo emo for like Edward fans?
I don't know what that means.
Twilight Edward.
I haven't seen.
Oh
so.
my
Wait,
goodness.
what do you mean? What is it?
So Kylo Ren is like really goth and like all this stuff, and like we as millennials look at it and we're like, oh my god, he would have been in the mall on Friday nights. Like
we would have been friends. I was friends with these people in high school.
You know, exactly.
I was these people in high school.
For us, there's kind of not necessarily like it's a little condescending. It's a little like I remember when we were kids and we acted like that. Whereas like it's like a lot of younger people like growing up with like characters like Edward the moody emo vampire who like it's like is very very popular. Like so is Kylo Ren designed to be appealing? Or is he designed to be kind of a joke?
Both.
Yeah, I was going to say, why not both?
So I think this is what I was saying. Actually, I never got to this earlier, and I wanted to. Was it's interesting to look at the First Order as compared to the Empire, where it's like the First Order is a collection of internet edgelords who got their hands on tech they don't understand. Like. So many shitty internet people were so mad at this movie because they understood that they were the villain. Mm. Like, the movie was very explicitly like, you are the bad guy. Like, so much. Mm. You think you're cool with your, like, you're fucking wanking over Vader and stormtroopers and all the, like, bad guy imagery, and you think you're this and that, and, like, no. You're a pathetic loser who's being manipulated by some old man. You've got old people who have their old terrible ideas that they refuse to let die. And it's like, even see, like, when Starkiller Base is imploding, like, there's some older officers that are like, stand your ground! And all the others are like, fuck you, we're screwed! Which is in stark contrast to, like, episode 4. So we've analyzed their attack pattern and they might kill us all. And Tarkin's like, ha ha ha, of course not. We'll be
Oh, Tarkin, no.
And it's like, favorite. It really is just like, and it's sad because of course it was sadly prescient because let's all remember this was 2015 before the Nazis came back in quite so obvious a way.
Star Wars brought them back.
They all watched it like, ooh,
it did give some of them a rallying cry.
Well, was the rally, what, literally?
Well, it's complaining about having black men in space. Shit like that.
Fucked.
The amount of bullshit they pulled that, again, it's...
Yeah.
I won't go into lengthy detail, but so much of what we've dealt with for the past 5 years has been building up on the internet since Gamergate.
Yeah.
It was all a testing ground for so much. So it's really sad.
Speaking of the edgelords, one character
Speaking of the
edgelords,
speaking over 40 edgelords.
One character I just don't like. Not that I don't like. I just don't like.
Not that I don't like edgelords.
Yeah, I don't know. I really do not care for the character of Hux.
Oh, he sucks.
Every movie he's different.
Every movie is different, but every movie the consistency of his character is it's a shitty character.
I love how
it's acted well.
I would much so they introduced a character in Rise of Skywalker, played by a recognizable actor whose name escapes me.
Oh yeah, he was just in Loki.
Anyway,
Owen Wilson,
who's got kind of a Tarkin-y vibe to him a bit. That guy should have played Hux, and they should have made it that character
Tom
instead.
Hiddleston.
Well, yeah, I think it all just goes back to the fact that so much of this group is just pathetic, mewling young men with no real direction.
Why Hux is a fucking leader of men?
Okay, but here's the thing.
He was clearly related to someone.
Hux is what Percy Weasley would be in Star Wars. He started out as a prefect. He actively went against the people who were on the right side, and then he became Hux, a little ginger bitch.
God. Percy's a piece of shit.
I don't know.
He's the worst. He's one of the Weasley brothers, but he's like...
Is this from DuckTales?
Yes.
Yeah, it's from DuckTales.
Okay, all right.
He's the yellow one.
No,
Okay.
it's from Harry Potter.
Oh, so it's not from DuckTales.
Oh, you really thought?
Well,
Yeah,
I thought,
obviously
aren't there like
the
weasels?
Potter-
No, Beagle Boys. They're Beagle,
Oh, the Beagle
They're
Boys.
Beagle Boys,
I'm
yeah.
talking about DuckTales. Oh, they were weasels. I was mixing it up with Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yes.
Oh. You should watch that movie.
Oh, that's a
great.
great fucking
So
movie.
good.
And I've never seen enough, or I've seen one of the Harry Potter movies, but I haven't seen enough to know the characters.
Yeah, he's Percy without the redemption arc. That is the one thing. It is always satisfying to watch people kick the shit out of him in the
I'm
movies.
sorry. Hux was the spy.
I'm the spy. Fuck that.
Oh,
We're still shooting you.
I do like that actor. He does even though it's inconsistent, it's I forgot who said it. It was either Jake or James. Either way, the consistent thread is he's terrible, and whatever brand of terrible he needs to be in the movie, he is.
Yeah, no fault of the actor. I wish they had gone a different direction with the leader of the Third Reich. You know,
they tried to have him have the same dynamic as Vader and what was his name? Tarkin. Yeah, where Tarkin was actually in charge of everything, and Kylo was supposed to be his Force underling.
Well, here Snoke is kind of in charge, and Snoke is just a giant hologram that we
so
don't even
right.
get to see until next movie.
Yeah, Snoke is just the Emperor, and that it's in that connection.
And honestly, if they had been planning for the Emperor to make a comeback,
Which you know they weren't.
But if they had been, they shouldn't even have had the character of Snoke. They shouldn't even have revealed who it was that was behind the First Order. It should have
just been a cloaked figure and you can't see the face.
we would have known it was him.
Or not even a cloaked figure. Just, we don't know.
I have my orders to do this.
From the Supreme Leader.
Okay.
The Supreme Leader has maybe only Hux talks to him or something.
Oh god, especially what that would have added a whole extra layer of this whole movie is where's Luke? You spend the whole movie being oh fuck, Luke turned?
There were definitely people with this theory on the internet after
that
the thing.
Cool.
And then the reveal would have been oh no, Luke's fine, he's on an island.
Right.
We still don't know who the Supreme Leader
finding
is.
him, you still wouldn't have known for sure.
True.
If he had turned or not. That would have been really interesting.
Yeah. There was actually, I remember there was a big fan theory that he was Windu.
Oh, jeez.
Deformed by his lightning and getting tossed off of a skyscraper.
Yeah.
Moment.
And bleached as well.
But voiced by Andy Serkis.
If they could have gone the route with your idea where maybe they played it like Luke Skywalker had turned, they could have had Mark Hamill voice the Emperor. Because he's such a good voice actor.
Yeah, you wouldn't even know it was him necessarily.
Yeah,
and they could probably just not put his name in the credits.
But somebody would have recognized it and been oh, that's not Pro.
Right, yeah. Someone would have been able to be it's just close enough.
They would have gone, it's just close enough, and then they would have done one of those fucking voice print match things, because, Jesus, everyone has access to everything these days.
That would have been really cool.
But yeah, Snoke, and again, maybe they were planning more, but it turns out that whole character is just a dud. It doesn't go anywhere.
Oh.
Well, when you pass it off to Rian Johnson and he decides, you know what, fuck everything that was laid up for me, I'm gonna do my own bullshit.
Yeah, who's Rian Johnson again? That's a familiar name.
He was the director of The Last Jedi.
Doesn't he spell Ryan wrong?
Yes.
I mean wrong. R-I-A-N, probably
wrong.
Some other... Yeah, but it's probably right somewhere.
He spells it Ryan.
Is he... But I mean, is he Scandinavian? Maybe it's a Scandinavian spelling. I'm just saying... What I'm saying is, I shouldn't have said wrong. That's probably culturally insensitive. Anyway.
Why don't you go join the First Order, alright? If you're going to be that horrible.
According to this, he's American.
Horrible.
I forgot he did Brick. That's a good movie.
I'm a brick.
And Looper.
I'm a lover.
And Knives Out.
House.
Oh, Knives Out is fucking great. Have you guys seen Knives Out?
I've not.
Holy fucking shit. I'm going to tell you now.
I've heard people say it is absolutely terrible, and I've heard people say I absolutely
told
love
you
it,
it's
and
terrible?
no one in between.
The people who said it's terrible are just wrong. And the people who have said it's great are correct. It's really good. I really loved it. I didn't expect anything from it because I had a lot of people who were like, oh my god, it's the best movie ever. And I was just like, oh yeah, I'm sure it is. But it was.
I still need to
It's
see it.
fucking great.
Speaking of movies, do we want to wrap this up and move on to our next? Because this is going to be a long fucking day for us. Move on to another thing, or does Rossi have?
I'll
many
go through my
more
notes really quick and see
Go
if there's
fast,
anything
rattle 'em
interesting.
off.
It would have been cool. Finn crashes with the parachute. They didn't show him crashing with the parachute. If it had been one of the prequels, there would have been a 5-minute scene of Finn parachuting down to land on the ground.
If it had been another J.J. Abrams movie, he would have had a sword while he did it.
Yes. Yes.
Good point.
There was a really good line by Kylo Ren where Hux was talking about how effective his soldiers was, and Kylo was like, "They're obviously skilled of high treason."
Yeah, that's a good line.
That was a good line.
Yeah.
I love sassy Kylo.
Yes. There was a good line from Finn where he says, "Stay low. It confuses our sensors."
Oh, I missed that.
When they are flying the Millennium Falcon.
He said
Finn,
our?
He says our. I'm pretty sure he says our. I think he slips up and says, it's like it confuses our tracking.
It's a nice touch.
I could be wrong. It was a little like said very
What
fast.
confuses our tracking?
Well, the fact that he says our instead of there.
Yes, because he said I'm resistance, but he's actually a stormtrooper, and he says stay low. It confuses our tracking because they were being tracked.
Which they Chekhov gun that shit. Bring it back up at the end when they warp in. They have to warp inside the planetary atmosphere to get below the radar.
Yep.
Ain't that some shit?
Yeah.
And they have to stay low and crash through a whole bunch of trees.
Yes.
Those monsters.
For drama.
I have written down boyfriend the F off, and I don't know why.
Boyfriend the F off.
Is it when
the F
is
off.
it when Finn is asking if Rey has a boyfriend?
Yes, I think
Oh
it was.
my God.
Yeah.
You got like a boyfriend, a cute boyfriend, or whatever.
Yeah, like where did that come from? What the hell?
It came from his dick. He doesn't know any girls.
Ridiculous.
They are not even
girl
allowed.
stormtroopers though.
I loved it.
Yes,
That's
but
In
just
addition,
feminism.
like there's Captain Plasma, and then there was another one.
Captain Phasma.
There was another one that
Just
had a
My
stormtrooper.
point is, he
Didn't
probably
have tit
doesn't
armor.
but he probably doesn't get to talk to women a lot. Is what I'm
No.
saying.
They are not.
They give him shit about taking his helmet off when he's not allowed to, which makes me think probably he doesn't go on many.
Yeah, no, they're
Not
not allowed
I,
to
rumor
think
they
it's,
just
I
wear
still
the
think it's
helmet.
inappropriate,
Yeah.
but
They're clearly
oh
not
my
allowed
god,
to.
and the hand holding. The fucking hand.
Yeah.
Stop taking my hand! I had forgotten about that, and
Yeah.
I love it. I was like, good,
Yeah, no,
tell
they-
him, bitch.
I'm sure that First Order stormtroopers are not allowed to fuck. They're probably not even allowed to masturbate.
They're probably sterilized.
How do they
Oh,
get
do you
more
think they're
stormtroopers?
sterilized?
They can't
Yes,
just
I
They
do.
kidnap
They
more
must
babies.
be, right? They
It's
must
easier
be.
if they're homegrown.
No, dude, they must be sterilized.
They
They
might be
must be.
sterilized.
They must be. That's
Yeah.
wicked sad.
Oh.
Effective though.
How do you make new stormtroopers? If
You
sterilize
kidnap
all
them.
the
It
old-
You
was-
keep kidnapping
They're
them.
stealing.
Yeah, but
them
eventually
from-
you're gonna run out of people to steal.
No,
You're
that's
stealing
not
all
true.
the
Just
people.
ask
It's a
the
big
board.
galaxy.
This is definitely not my thought, but I really appreciated it from JJ. But it was Finn really relies on other people. Like
That makes
he's
sense.
very cooperative. Like, and he's just like, we need a pilot. Like he very much is like, it's like, no, I need you. We need to do this together. Like, and he does that a lot where he's very prone to reaching out to people for help when he needs it.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool, but also I guess some of the circumstances are a little messy. Ridley's acting is a little rough.
Who's this?
Daisy Ridley.
Oh, yeah.
Daisy
Yeah, it's a
Ridley.
bit-
She makes a
It's-
lot of weird
but-
faces. She
but
has a lot of
it's-
face
It's
problems.
an
It's-
homage to the original
Right,
Star
that's
Wars.
the thing. It's like
it rhymes.
it is absolutely no worse than how Luke was in the
Oh,
in the
no
first
doubt.
one. And
Sure it
Daisy
is.
Ridley gets a lot better.
Yeah, yeah.
Unfortunately, the scripts get a lot worse.
That's
Yeah.
the shame of it. Yeah.
The acting is better. The story.
I did say I felt bad for Finn because, of course, he's actually British. And I imagine keeping your accent up must be hard enough. But when you're acting opposite someone who gets to use their real accent and it's yours, you just be like,
He does a great job,
They
though.
do. I remember someone talking about they do chess game fan service.
yes, they do.
Yeah, like in the first movies, in the original movies, they have the chess game going. In the prequels, they set it up so that the chess game becomes the setup for the original. And then in The Force Awakens, it's executing stuff that was in.
Did you also notice that they have little Zappy Ball fan service?
They do.
I
Yeah.
missed Zappy Ball Band.
When Finn is like looking for parts
Something.
or something, he picks it up and tosses it aside. It's like-
Yeah, the little,
Yeah.
the practice drone.
Yeah.
Zappy Ball.
The remote, I believe it was called.
Yes, you're right.
Zappy Ball.
Does Han have force powers because he shot a guy without looking?
Oh,
You were
God.
going to say, does Han have foreskin?
Yeah.
Do you know how many fucking arguments that scene caused on the internet?
I totally don't care that much.
Neither do I, but
Yeah.
believe me.
Yeah.
No, he's just
I'm-
lucky.
I'm
Yeah,
going to
right.
answer the question not asked, which is yes, of course he has foreskin.
Thank you,
They
Kate.
they are not monsters in the future.
Harrison
They're
Ford
Past.
is a quarter Jewish. Not too shabby.
I'm not talking about Harrison Ford. I'm talking about Han Solo, who absolutely has his foreskin. He's got so much foreskin, it's a 5 skin. Okay, that's how much
It's
foreskin.
just like
okay, we're moving on.
Sock that drags.
No.
Really loose, sloppy foreskin.
No.
It's because he's always jamming spices up there.
Well,
This is
speaking of
fucking-
James.
No. All right. Dovetailing a little bit into this.
No, wait for them to stop so Chris can cut this
Oh,
out.
I can't breathe. Don't you dare cut this. This is my art.
When they go to Moss's, what's her name?
Mascanada.
Thank you. The new cantina, like Han says, "Don't stare," and then they go in there and there's just totally normal alien stuff going on. Like there's nothing that weird in there to stare at.
Being fair,
Unless they were talking about don't stare at Mascanada's like
creepy
eyes.
I mean,
Like they're not that creepy. They're just she wears glasses.
I love the house music in her fucking place.
Oh yeah, no, her place ruled. I really as something that could just be like hand wave away as like, oh, it's the new cantina or whatever. They do a great job.
Also, don't we get some Space Casino in one of the next movies that really sucks and it's not nearly as good
Space
as
Casino
You
Mascanada's?
guys loved it though.
It's not
No,
as good
I
as
liked it,
Mascanada's.
You know, one thing I did.
I probably do,
speaking
but I
of
like hers better.
Mascanada's,
Fair.
because it is the new cantina, right? I loved some
Like
of
it's
the
blown up.
creatures that we see.
Who do we
And-
see?
Well, just different things. But one of the ones that I really like, there's a droid that his mouth is one of those like old Shure mics, like the old Elvis style mic.
I think it's an SM58.
And like, thank you,
Jesus.
thank you, audio nerd. For
That's like I own one.
I knew the
those.
brand of it. At least.
Whatever.
that's impressive.
I could be wrong. It's probably not.
But
a 58.
but
probably
like it's a very
80-something.
recognizable piece of Earth tech, and I felt like that was like an intentional homage to like in the original just
How the wonderful kit bashing.
yeah, kit bashing shit. So I don't know. It was like it's one of those things that takes you out when you see it because you recognize it as a piece of Earth technology, and then but you're out of it just long enough to appreciate that they did it.
Yeah.
And then you're back in.
Sorry,
Yeah.
it's the 55.
Oh,
Son of a bitch, James.
Oh,
You
I
know,
will-
I was way wrong.
I will
the
say-
50, the 58 is like the tiny whatever.
I think a way you can explain the "don't stare" line
Yeah.
is that Han knows Finn. Like, he doesn't necessarily know he's a stormtrooper, but he knows Finn is not who he says
All right,
he is.
Finn would stare. That makes sense.
Finn would
No one
stare, and
else
he's like,
would
we
stare.
need to look like we belong here.
Yeah.
And to look like we belong here, we can't be surprised by our surroundings, and you are about to be surprised by your surroundings.
Did he say it directly to Finn or was it to the group?
I don't remember.
Who is
If
the
it was
group, though?
directly
It's
to
Finn
Finn.
and Chewie and
Right.
Rey.
Chewie stayed outside.
Yeah.
Well, but
he didn't want to
Rey-
get
Oh, that's
groomed
right.
by
No,
Maz.
he was on the ship convalescing.
Yeah, but Rey also would have been shocked by everything she saw because remember she was losing her mind just about all the trees.
Well, yeah, but she's also more used to like weird alien
Yeah,
shit.
she'd see
though.
aliens.
Well,
I can
yeah,
also
but-
imagine though that like remember in the original Star Wars, Luke almost got himself killed just for standing around.
That's
and
true.
Pissing somebody off by just being there. So maybe
Yeah.
So it's a callback.
maybe
There
like
you
if
go.
you look at
It
people the
rhymes.
wrong way
It
in these
does.
sketchy bars, you have a risk of getting killed.
That is very true.
How many more notes do you have?
Not very many, trust me.
Get 'em.
It's
Get 'em done.
Most of the
Get 'em
press-
right.
Just like 6 or 7
During
more pages.
1,000, yeah. during the Force hallucination, when Rey picks up the Darth
Saber.
Vader's lightsaber, you can hear Obi-Wan
You
Yes.
can
say,
Wasn't Darth
say,
well,
Rey.
yes, it was, just kidding.
Yeah, they had
Oh, really?
they used some archetypal, but what about
Archival.
archival footage of the first one whose name is gone.
Alec Guinness.
That's the
Guinness.
one.
Yeah.
And had Ewan
It's a
McGregor
gun
come
Rey.
in and had him deliver a line, and I guess they merged them.
Yeah.
But they also brought in Frank Oz to do a Yoda one, and then either cut it or used other ones, but I couldn't spot it.
I think I heard a Yoda in
Okay,
there.
I couldn't hear it,
Yeah.
but I also don't pay attention.
There was a scene where Finn has to fight a stormtrooper who's like traitor, as
That
if
guy.
like he knows him immediately, and he just so happens to have an anti lightsaber weapon
Yeah,
on
the
him.
anti-lightsaber weapons are stupid.
He had a gun on him. You should just shot him.
Right.
I have
It's
a
not
gun in my room. We'll shoot him together.
It's not like Finn has the force power to deflect a blaster shot anyway. You know?
Right. And so the guy so the guy had this ridiculous like anti lightsaber sword for some reason. And also I guess
protect himself from
guessing it's
Kylo
like
Ren.
I'm guessing it's normally like a billy club or something.
maybe,
Probably.
but like why is it good against a lightsaber? Nothing's good against lightsabers but other lightsabers.
Well,
unless
Ren.
you design it to be good against the lightsaber.
I mean, because doesn't in Mandalorian they have a
that didn't happen
a
yet.
stick that is good against.
They followed
lightsabers.
this.
Yeah, Beskar is
the Beskar.
retconned to be.
Anyway, why would a stormtrooper have it?
They wouldn't.
When there's no Jedi.
They wouldn't.
And also, why is Finn the stormtrooper semi-competent at using a lightsaber? Do they have swords?
I think
Because he was trained with the fucking bat, too.
They're also. I think they were trying to lay groundwork that he might have some forceness.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Which would have been interesting.
Well, and also because isn't it called the Force Awakens? So like we're sort of trying to make us think like, who's it going to be? Is it going to be Rey? Is it going to be him?
I think that would have been a great subversion if they had Finn become the Jedi hero.
Well, that's the thing is, remember, in the run-up to this, almost all of the marketing made it seem like that was the case.
Yeah.
That he was going to be the Jedi.
I mean, that's why.
No, it was always going to be Rey, but they just, in the marketing, they wanted it to be a secret and a surprise.
Yeah, that's why they put it in the marketing, so that it would be a twist when you actually see it.
Well, why they really did it was because they were like, well, okay, he is black, but he's a guy. If we show that it's a woman, no one's going to come see this fucking movie. I mean, we got to hedge our bets on this one.
But also, the other thing is, half the internet was like, that's a feint. It's going to be Rey.
This was, well, and I mean, like, it's important to remember that, like, the Rey, like, dolls and stuff, they didn't make any.
No, they didn't.
Like, she's the star of this movie, and somehow the marketing people were like, nah, no one's gonna want a Rey doll. So they sold out instantly. Like, there was absolutely this calculated marketing sexism, against her.
That's so absurd, because you think you create this character to be appealing to literally half the fucking population who want to see women in these kinds of roles.
I mean,
also, even kids are gonna want to be the Jedi character. No kid's gonna want to be.
Right. Oh, I don't know. I want the Kylo one though. So.
Well, yeah, that's fair. But
Well,
you need
got
Kylo to
force
fight
powers.
somebody.
Yeah, but like that is how ingrained like the sexism.
It's fucking bullshit.
On even this movie where like the lead Jedi is being set up to be, a young woman.
Like, I mean, all that just means is that somehow Disney is not as savvy at marketing as Lucas is.
Disney really it's amazing watching their handling of Star Wars versus Marvel. Like,
it's appalling.
They really seemed to think Star Wars would be as much of an easy slam dunk. And I think the problem is that what they understand was that Marvel, they kind of kept their hands off and let Kevin Feige or Feige, I don't know how you pronounce it, just kind of run shit. Whereas with this, they kept interfering, they kept sticking their fingers in, all this bullshit, and like they were shocked when so much of it blew up in their faces. And only now have they really begun to course correct by just like standing back and trusting the talent. And that's why you've had, The Mandalorian be so successful, and well, that's it so far, isn't it?
Yeah.
But still, I think people
we got more on the way.
So much more.
Loads.
There's always more.
A really
Please continue your list.
A really cool detail, and I don't know if this was practical or a visual effect after the fact because it was a scene where there would have been CGI. There's a moment where Rey kind of like looks down a hallway and she sees really far down, and you're looking at stormtroopers that are like 50, 100 meters away or whatever. There's like a few ships and things. And then the camera like swings back and moves towards Rey. So what happened is that there was camera focus deformation on the screen. So like when a camera goes from focused on something really far away to focused on something up close, it actually changes how much you can see. Like around the edges. Mm-hmm. So like when you're like when it pulls back, you actually can see a bit more. Like
this is way too detailed. Note, James. We've been going for way too long.
It was cool.
Pick like one really important note.
They're not important. I think it's good.
Pick your favorite.
I liked that it got dark when they sucked up the sun into the planet. It didn't.
Oh, there was a line. What was the line, Jake?
As long as there's light, there's hope or something.
And that was when I shouted, "Hooray for metaphors!"
Hey.
Which is
but it also was timed with
Archer.
Kylo's turn.
True.
When he killed, right as he stabbed Han Solo's, when the sun got depleted and the light literally drained off of his face. And
Subtle.
It's
just
good
the
work.
red light.
It's good work by them.
Glad I picked that as my last.
But guess what? They're not out of this. There's still hope, maybe. Perhaps a new hope.
Is there any hope for this episode to continue?
I mean, there
we
was.
have no choice.
Oh, this episode of our fucking show?
We have to do our thing.
Okay, I'm gonna leave this to Jake, because Jake is the one that knows my special treat for you jerks. Do the special treat first, or do the big board first?
Let's do the big board first and end it with the special treat.
Great. Alright, how do we want to do the special treat? Or the big board?
I'll do the big board and put my stuff up.
Okay, so we're all just gonna put
the bathroom.
Put our things on the big board, and then we'll talk about it.
Yes, I will cut this interim that we're about to have.
Good, because it's
Where
already
does the
way
big
too
board
long.
want to go? Shall we
Yeah.
talk about them? Do you want to go in the order of the columns? Or how do we want to talk about
Column
Whichever way you guys like.
Let's go column.
Yeah,
columns meanie.
And we're back. We've all created the big board, and the big board being our ranked lists of all the Star Wars movies that we've been talking about for the past several weeks for some reason. And
You told us to, for some reason. What?
Listen.
You listen.
I am listening.
And some we talked about several years ago.
Yeah, and some we talked about as they were released. But since our podcast has only been around for 4 years, what year is it?
We started in 2016, so we
15
missed
years.
The Force Awakens.
We've been going on for so long that now we have to talk about Star Wars. Here we go. Fucking worst for me, Attack of the Goddamn Clones. Romance plot was awful and they ruined fucking Yoda. Number 10. What?
Go on.
Okay. Number 10. Revenge of the fucking Sith. Mostly, I forget which movie this even is.
Something with a 4-hour lightsaber.
A 4-hour lightsaber fight, and fucking Padme, they forgot was even there. She was just there to be pregnant and cry, and god damn it.
They really did her dirty in that fucking movie. You're absolutely right about that.
That's what's really upsetting to me. Number 9, I can't fucking stand The Last Jedi. I love everything Luke does. I hate the fucking long-ass plot to Canto Bite.
I gotta make my flip.
Jake's flipping as we speak.
I was gonna tie them, but I gotta flip.
Yeah, so Last Jedi I'm putting down there number 9 just because I think it was tiring. It was very tiring. In fact, less tiring than The Rise of Skywalker somehow. Really, Jake?
Gotta retake the picture.
Well,
I'm gonna take one anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna take one straight on. Number 8, Rise of Skywalker, less tiring than Last Jedi, but I really hate everything they did with the Emperor, which was awful. We head here to the middle chunk of stuff that was very much in the middle, starting with Solo, our most middling movie of all the middle things. Thanks, Solo, you did it. Number 6, here we're starting to get toward the top. Return of the Jedi. I think I ranked this one the lowest of everybody because I'm just not into it. The Ewoks are terrible. Han Solo is terrible.
They are terrible.
The speeder bike scenes are so goddamn much of the movie. There's Return of the Jedi for you. Number 5, I've placed this the highest.
That's wild.
Super
What
high.
the fuck?
Are you okay?
That's why I was like, what?
Here's the thing. I don't like Star Wars.
Oh yeah.
I'm not a Star Wars person. I come into this and I realize, oh wait a minute, I don't actually give any shits about any of the original movies because I wasn't raised loving them. I was raised knowing they existed. So I was like, I don't know what movies I actually like. So The Phantom Menace gets as high as it is because I really like Darth Maul.
Fair.
Yeah. Darth Maul is great.
Yeah.
Darth Maul is a lot of fun.
You're certainly not wrong about that.
And the pod racing scene was fun. It's iconic and fun. It's decent, and then they ruined the rest of the fucking prequels. Number 4, The Empire Strikes Back. It's fine. It's a fine movie.
They did strike back.
Yeah, I mean, I know I talked when we discussed this episode, like, why is this everyone's favorite? Including several people in this room. I'm not a big Yoda fan. I'm not a big most things fan. It's fine. We talked about today a whole lot, my number 3 movie, The Force Awakens, which I think I liked a whole lot, and it got bumped up today after we watched it last night and realized, yeah, this is very decent, a good setup. It's almost tied with my number 2. Like, I was really considering flip-flopping them, but my number 2 is just A New Hope. It's also a fine movie.
Yeah.
But my number 1, and this is gonna shock no one, but I really liked Rogue One.
Rogue One's great.
Damn good movie.
Solid movie, told a simple story with some characters I liked, and then ended, which was the best idea it ever had.
It had Alan Tudyk in it.
And it had Alan Tudyk
What's not
in
to
it.
love about Alan Tudyk?
And Chirrut was great. There's my list.
Castian said I had to, or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
I love that. Oh, that means I'm next.
Yeah.
You're up.
Caitlin bunched a lot. You bunched a lot.
I did bunch a lot. I did do that. Attack of the Clones, worst movie in the world.
I'm sorry we made you watch it, Caitlin.
Yeah, you should be. I was a fucking novelty. Now, no more. I still haven't seen that one that everyone's seen with the dreams and shit, though.
Inception.
Yeah, that. I'm never seeing it.
Inception is good,
never
though. Attack
seeing
of the
it.
Clones is garbage.
Nah, never seeing it. Phantom Menace, horrible. Possibly really bad.
Worse than Sith?
Yeah.
Wow.
You can see because Sith is the next one.
That's what I'm looking at.
Return of the Sith, I almost had. Revenge of the Sith had the benefit of not having that fucking child in it. And Jar Jar doesn't say anything except... No, wait, is that the second one he only farts? I don't remember. It's one or the other. Jar Jar only farts for a second in one of them, which gives it points. In fact, remembering how bad the kid is and how Jar Jar doesn't talk that much... No, it's the third one. Anyway, don't worry about it. Revenge of the Sith, best of the worst. Again, no Jar Jar, no annoying child. Though we do have which damn dude, why?
We kill the fuck out of Padme.
Oh, poor Padme. She just gets done so dirty.
Padme Amidala.
Way worse than Phasma.
Yeah, dude. Well, I don't know. Oh.
The thing is,
God,
Amidala
poor
starts
Phasma.
off kind of interesting. Phasma just never got to be a character.
No.
She was just fucking underutilized. It's an embarrassment. Why do you even get Brienne of Tarth, whatever her real name is?
Gwendolyn Christie.
That's it. Why do you even get her?
They originally wanted Slappy Back Bendy Dick.
What?
They wanted Benedict Cumberbatch to play Captain Phasma?
Yep.
And what, he wasn't man enough for the role?
I don't know, but...
I would play that role, if you asked me. And I was a famous actor.
Yeah, but he's English.
I would play it because I'd love to be in a movie, but, you know.
He did The Grinch, where the Grinch goes shopping in Whoville. He doesn't have standards.
Anyway, list.
Jesus Christ.
Number 8.
Solo.
Oh, yeah.
Kind of shit, that movie. I don't really like Woody Harrelson.
You don't like Woody Harrelson?
Nope. Fuck him.
But Sandy
He's so
Newton's also in it.
Who?
Sandy Newton's in it, too.
Who's that?
His wife that they killed.
She was the wife that died fairly early in the film.
Oh,
They
Actually,
fridged
more
her.
about the halfway point, probably.
Bummer. Anyway, I don't know who that is. Number 9, Rise of the Skywalker. To be honest, Rise of the Skywalker. To be honest with you, the sequels are just kind of a big blur in my head. They're fine. They're passable. They're better than the prequels, and they're not as good as the originals. I kind of just put them in order. I don't really remember if I like 9 more than 8 or vice versa. I was super excited when Kylo and Rey finally fucking kissed. Whatever. Sue me. I don't care.
I agree with you. I like it.
There are so few of us. So few of us, Ames. And then, number 6, The Last Jedi. Because, I don't really remember. And, oh god, actually what I do remember is fucking gross-ass green titty walrus milk and fucking who knows whatever.
Best part of the movie.
Disgusting.
Also
There's
porgs.
so much disgusting,
porgs.
like, body horror in these movies. But
Food
it's all
horror.
food horror. Like, I hate it. So there's that. The Force Awakens. As a cute movie. Good job. Guys, high marks all around. Poe Dameron, you're sexy and you're fucking gay. You and Finch, just do it. It's fine. Number 4, Return of the Jedi. Not a great movie. Probably should be lower on the list if we're being honest.
But we're not.
It's almost the principle of the thing, I guess. I don't know. So, Return of the Jedi. Fuck Ewoks. Number 3, Rogue One.
Woo!
Great fucking movie. Probably should be higher up. I don't really know. It's hard. My top 3 being Rogue One is 3, A New Hope is 2, Empire Strikes Back is 1. They're all sort of tied-ish. Because the first movie really stands alone on its own, and it's the first one, and it's fucking great, and it's awesome. Rogue One just fucking rocks. And The Empire Strikes Back is probably... obviously I have said it's my favorite one, so I would say, objectively might be the best film. But, I don't know. Anyway, that's a Star War.
Alright. I'm going to go in the opposite order.
No.
Why?
Wait, what?
I need to build up. Or down.
Okay. That's right. Normally, I'm saying we should start at the top and go.
Yeah,
to the bottom.
no. For once,
Do
I'm
it!
following your
Yes!
precepts.
Do it.
So from top to bottom, unlike everyone else, best one, episode 4, because it is Star Wars unburdened by its own legacy.
Yeah.
Unless you watch the one on Disney Plus.
Right. Empire Strikes Back is number 2, because, it's still really good. It's the original trilogy. There's still not so much bullshit, and it's a good time. Number 3, Rogue One. Great fucking movie.
Yay!
Overall great movie, and then you get the fucking hallway scene at the end, which is God damn!
Remember how Darth Vader
God
was
damn.
a bad bitch? Here it
Yeah,
is.
fuck, that scene is amazing. What do I got now? Force Awakens, which I bumped up today. Because I had forgotten, again, like how genuinely good it is on its own. Which means it scooched down Return of the Jedi, which I fell asleep during. Which is why it's as low down as it is.
He did, I remember.
Solo, number 6. I went into Solo with such low expectations.
Would you say that they were so low? Yes!
That,
that was a good one. Ow!
I think it probably isn't actually as good as it looks on this list.
Solo?
But that is how little I was expecting of it. Like, I was really expecting, like, prequel level bad. And we just got middling. The Last Jedi, number 7. Pacing issues at the wazoo. A lot of weird choices, especially with regards Poe. But god damn it.
Chris
I was
loves
so
porks.
happy. Well, I love porks. And I was so happy to have a Star Wars movie go fuck Legacy. It was a beautiful thing. It's the shot in the arm Star Wars has needed for years. Number 8. Revenge of the Sith. Why is it the highest? I don't know, to be honest. I mean, they're all bad, but I guess there's no baby Anakin. There's just adult man-child Anakin. It goes on too long, but the lightsaber duel is fun.
No, it's too long.
At first, for like 3 minutes.
The whole Senate.
For 3 minutes, yeah, I think that's what it is. I think I just like Palpatine.
Okay.
By the end of the prequels, I'm kind of glad he won. Phantom Menace is where it is because literally, again, I fell asleep during Attack of the Clones, so it must be worse than the Phantom Menace. And then the worst Star Wars movie of all time is the rise of bureaucratic meddling, where, hey, remember how the last movie, with all its flaws, did one really good thing where it was like, fuck Legacy? We're so sorry we made you sad, internet shit people. Here's all the Legacy you can stomach. Look, here's a piece of the Death Star. And look, we even fucking got I don't want to be in these movies anymore Wedge Antilles to come back for a cameo.
And Harrison.
And Harrison. They somehow got Harrison. I do not know how that happened.
Here's the thing.
And Billy D got paid in sandwiches.
Yes.
Quick question while we're here, though, because we rewatched Rise of Skywalker recently.
I'm so
Billy
sorry.
D is the Walter Koenig of Star Wars.
Thank you, Jake. My theory still fucking holds up. Have you heard my theory, James?
No.
Here's my fucking theory again.
She's got a theory.
Go back and either re-listen to our coverage of Rise of the Skywalker,
Our coverage.
or I'll tell you it right now.
Yeah.
When Kylo gets stabbed on the Death Star by Rey, and Carrie Fisher, Leia, and Leia's like Force doing something with Force. Imagine that for the rest of the movie, it's not Kylo, it's Leia in Kylo's body, and it fucking works.
Oh yeah, I remember that theory.
Yeah, I do remember that.
But yeah, no, episode 9, because Disney couldn't leave well enough alone. Bring back the Emperor. Didn't make sense.
Why?
Just everything else, it's all so bad. They sideline Poe and Finn.
And Rose!
So
much!
And fucking...
Here's the thing, though.
Shush. They didn't have to sideline her, they just could have made her better.
Don't you shush her.
No, it's okay. I was interrupting him. This is his time.
It's so infuriating on a meta level.
If only there was something in common between Finn, Poe, and Rose that we could point to as maybe being why they would be under.
Yeah, no, it's weird. Why the internet was so mad at them. It was just such pathetic pandering that they ended up creating a movie almost no one liked, including the pieces of shit they were trying to appeal to. So, well done, Disney, you ignorant fucks.
I love when he gets...
And that's why I had to go in that order.
Jake, what order do you want to go in?
I'm going to go in bottom to top because just to make Chris feel weird about being the one doing different.
It's fine.
Don't worry, James will just go from the middle out.
Oh, you can do that.
He's going to do fractals.
All right.
Fractals.
At the bottom of the list, Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, Star Wars, that is.
Yeah,
no one should be surprised. I've railed against that movie for literal years. And it did not disappoint in its disappointment. So yeah, that's at the bottom. Although, maybe objectively it could be argued that my number 10, The Rise of Skywalker, is actually the worst movie. but I'd lose all credibility if I didn't put Attack of the Clones at the bottom. But yeah, no, Rise of Skywalker is fucking terrible for all the reasons that Chris mentioned, but also I think it's just bad also. Yeah, you know, even for reasons he didn't mention that I won't even mention either because
we did a whole episode.
I don't have to. I'm just listing things. Number 9.
Number 9.
Revenge of the Sixth. Revenge of the Sith. Well, it was the 6th movie to come out, wasn't it? So there you go. Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the number 9.
Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. You know, it's not as bad as Attack of the Clones. That's why it's number 9.
Yeah. There you go.
Number 8, Star Wars.
Oh, was that the one you switched to?
I switched my 8 and 9 because, quite frankly, they were a coin flip for me. But you know, I'm gonna give a slight edge to number 8, The Last Jedi.
Because you love that casino scene.
I fucking hate the casino scene. And like, I gotta be real here. Like, I know, like, there was a lot of backlash against the Rose character, and a lot of it was for the wrong reasons. The reason, you know, what Chris was talking about, the internet shit people.
I love the term shit people.
It's good.
But I gotta be honest, I don't think it was a well-written character. I don't think it was a well-conceived character.
No, that is true.
You know, I think...
No, because you feel like they only spit her out so that, like, they could be like, no, Finn's not gay. Look at this girl he wants to totally put it in.
Yeah,
definitely
and then
not
like,
gay.
No, nobody liked that character. Let's give him a different girlfriend in the next one.
Yeah, but then she kisses him and he's like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm gay.
The real problem... Exactly. The real problem is they had just no chemistry.
Yeah.
Yes. Not a fucking stitch.
Yes.
Yeah, and like, I don't know, it's a bunch of side quests. They ruined. I feel like they ruined Finn. They ruined Poe. They didn't give Rose a chance.
Nope.
I think the only good things in that movie are probably the Luke and Rey stuff, and yeah. So that's why it's low. Number 7, Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, and honestly, my 5, 6, and 7 are also kind of in a tight clumping in terms of my opinions of them, and they could almost go in any order, but. So 7, it's only a 7th for whatever reasons, but yeah, Phantom Menace, I don't mind it. I think it's aside from the Jar Jar character, which I do think is terrible, and the little kid, which I don't care for so much. It's definitely the best of the prequels. I think, you know, there's a cool lightsaber fight. It goes on a little long, but it's cool. So yeah, I don't mind it. It's not the worst. Neither is number 6, Solo. Han Solo, the movie, part 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
Han Solo movie. I didn't actually mind it, and honestly, it might have gone higher if I really put a lot of thought into it. But I'm gonna go with 6, right smack dab in the middle, because it's very average, I would say.
Yeah.
A lot of things I really like about that movie. You know, a lot of fan service, which, you know, I know I joke about fan wanking and everything, but you know, it's fucking Star Wars and it's fucking Han Solo movie. Of course, it's gonna be fan service. That's why they made it. That's why you went to see it. So don't complain.
Fair.
Number 5, Return of the Yeti. You know, not great. A lot of shit. A lot of stuff I really like. You know, I talked about how I really like the confrontation between Luke and Vader in that movie, and the Empire and the Emperor stuff. I really like the Jabba stuff. You know, the first act of that movie I think is pretty good for the most part.
It's confusing to me.
Jedi Rocks.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Unite. And I love the Yub Yubs. But other than that, that's the only thing I like about the...
Wait, you love the Yub Yubs?
No, I don't. But the Ewoks and like all the Endor stuff are kind of terrible. So that's why it's so low. But not low.
Solo's the other one.
All right, number 4, The Force Awakens. The Force Awakens. They did force it. It was forced. It didn't need to be made, but they did make it, and they did an okay job, so that's why it's high. Number 3, Star Wars 4, The New Hope.
The new Pope.
The new Pope. You know, I think Chris put it better than I will. You know, it's Star Wars without the baggage. It's got nothing to prove other than just being a fun adventure movie, and I appreciate that. Number 2, Rogue One. You know, this is like the same thing, right? Though this is Star Wars with the baggage, yet they still managed to eke out a good movie. So,
Rogue One's so good.
Yeah, likable characters.
Alan Tudyk.
Exciting situation.
A lot of people expecting Bothans that weren't going to be there.
Well, the Bothans were the second one.
I know. I had to explain that to some people.
Oh, and an undeniably good kiss on that one for sure. Don't they have a, like, we're dying kiss?
No, they don't.
They just embrace it.
They very specifically don't.
Oh, yeah, you're right. They have a we're dying hug.
Which I'm glad they don't.
I appreciate the embrace.
Yeah.
I guess
I like that movie. I think Yeah, and again, the Vader scene is just
it's
really,
so hot.
really badass. And I know a lot of people were like, I know this movie got a ton of criticism for its fan wankiness.
From Jake.
For me, yeah. But honestly, in retrospect, I'm caring less. I'm caring less about the wank. The wank.
And you didn't rewatch this one with me.
I didn't rewatch it, but I acknowledge it. I acknowledge it's good.
Okay.
And then my process of elimination is The Empire Strikes Back, which might seem like the fan favorite answer, and it probably is. But yeah, I don't know. I think perhaps Empire and Rogue One might be the only two that will stand the test of, are these just straight up good movies outside of Star Wars, not just Star Wars movies. Are these good, well made movies that don't lean too heavily on being part of Star Wars? And I would say that is true.
You're right. You're goddamn right.
And finally, we have James.
What's your number 0, Jake?
My number 0 is Star Wars: The Holiday Special, which I haven't seen, but I hear it's fucking amazing.
Oh, I have seen it. It's good.
It's very bad.
I love it. I actually kind of do love it.
It's so high on my list, it transcends the list.
All right.
I was going to say Spaceballs.
Number 11, The Rise of Skywalker.
Whoa.
I haven't seen it.
Wait, really? Are you kidding?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
You lucky bastard.
You just know.
I've heard plenty of things, and I don't like anything they've done.
Or do you intend to ever see it to see if you're right?
I do intend to see it.
You want to watch it tonight with
Will you get back to us with your
unfortunately,
answer?
That'd be really nice.
Would you write us a blog post about it?
I could maybe.
Ooh, you should.
We should be outsourcing our blog
You
posts.
really should, yeah.
That's brilliant.
My number 10. I'm not actually sure I don't know why I did it this way for my next 3, but number 10, Revenge of the Sith. Okay, so I think a lot of what this comes down to is treatment of Padme.
I can see that.
So Revenge of the Sith, Padme is not a character. They forgot she was really awesome and had agency and was really tough and knew what she was doing.
Oh god, but in 2 she makes the worst decision she ever made.
But she made it.
Yeah.
Okay, alright.
Then
she was force tricked.
Yeah. I've got at number 9, The Phantom Menace.
Wow.
That movie's just bad. It's bad. All 3 of these are real bad.
They're bad.
Yeah.
I think episode 1 and episode 2 are kind of
I
equal for me. For
can't
different
believe
reasons.
that.
Yeah.
I can't believe that you
I am
put 2
I
that
know.
high.
The thing is I just watched Attack of the Clones this week, and I'm like, why is it that high?
Is it because all the other ones you just hate more?
Maybe, I don't know. The Phantom Menace is just straight up bad. It is bad all around. The technicals,
I like it.
Yeah.
No, the music though, the fight.
Musical's
Ewan
okay.
McGregor's kind of cute.
Don't really like the fight.
I gotta say, they're really not impressed with Ewan McGregor at all in these films.
Yeah.
No, he does not come off as a great actor, but I think.
But again,
Well,
it's the same as everybody else. They all get
directing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
George
Bad
Lucas
scripts, bad directing.
Cannot direct. And then so number 8 is Attack of the Clones.
Weird.
Please don't murder me.
Might have to.
Number 7 is Solo. I can't remember much of anything that happened in that movie. I saw it.
That movie in a
I
nutshell.
saw it in the theater, and it was just the least plussing thing I have ever seen. I think.
Well, plus,
I was
they
just
come-
not interested.
They come up with his name, you're
that
alone.
is-
Oh, Solo. Fuck
yeah,
you.
I was.
I think I said this when we reviewed it, but I think to me it is the first scene of
Young Indiana Jones.
Oh.
The first scene of The Last Crusade,
But a whole movie.
but stretched into the length of a movie.
Yeah, I think you
Yeah.
did say that.
Yeah, it's. I'm fine without it. Number 6, The Force Awakens. That's fine. The technicals are fantastic. I cannot fault any of that. But the writing is very and most of its weaknesses spring from the writing. Unfortunately, the writing is a lot because it is a movie.
Wow, your
Yeah,
Last
that's
Jedi
people
is
talking.
very high.
This is
The Last Jedi, I liked the weird stuff they did.
Ugh.
I really like the weird stuff they did. I do not like the character assassination of Poe. That I do not enjoy whatsoever. But the Holdo maneuver, a thing they should have been doing the entire time for all of
Suicide
history.
runs? Jesus.
No.
Ramming speed.
Take a ship, set it on automatic, point it at your enemy, go to warp speed.
Just put a little hyperdrive in a missile.
They've got droids they don't care about.
Yeah, even though they're sentient.
Yeah, because everyone's terrible. But in universe, it would make perfect sense to put a protocol droid and tell it to just go real fast that way.
Definitely a protocol
just any
droid.
protocol droid.
Mine.
3PO, you want to be a hero?
Just endless copies of 3PO so you can kill them.
No, just one.
But the holdo maneuver, I think, is just, it's kind of indicative of taking the universe and trying to be creative with it. Because it fits within the rules, but like it fits within the rules that are displayed, whereas a lot of the movies, they follow rules that are unspoken and unexplained. Like, why wouldn't you use a ship as a weapon? Ships are weapons. If you can go fast, it's a weapon. And so they actually do that in this movie, and then they forget it exists.
I don't know. Too many porgs.
Yeah. Or, yeah, I don't know. They were cute.
There are a lot of porgs.
They were cute. There was way too many of them.
Nope.
Well, that's because there were so many fucking puffins. If you really want to... You really
but
got beef with the porgs, you gotta take it up with the puffins.
But then they bring them with them on the Falcon.
Yeah,
well, that's because Chewbacca was hungry.
Let's let James finish.
Yeah, I was just saying, Chewbacca's just been eating them.
Oh, okay.
That's true.
That I'm into.
That is very true. So
Number four,
Return of the Jedi. It's fine. It was a decent ending. Like it's enjoyable. It's a decent cap off. The Ewoks didn't bother me nearly as much as they
many
used
jokes.
to. I watched it very recently too.
So
like
campy.
I watched that Saturday.
You poor thing.
And like I didn't really have that much problem with them compared to the way the prequels do their cute fun stuff. I made scare quotes.
Yes,
by the way. Do their like cute fun jokes. It was way better. Like, and at least the Ewoks are like really competent once they get down to it. There's some unfortunate connotations with them, but whatever.
We never talked about that.
Yeah, like
the tribalism kind of thing.
Being treated as a god. Like, it's a lot of really gross tropes.
Yeah, it's gross.
Or it being schlock is not an excuse. So number 3, A New Hope. I like the first movie. Yeah. It's fun. It's nice. Like it is. Part of the reason it's so high is because of the context of when it was released and how it starts all of this stuff. I think like in the fourth movie and the fifth movie, the character interactions are really nice and cool too. Like you get a really good solid introduction to the characters in A New Hope. And then that leads into The Empire Strikes Back, where the relationships are really awesome, and it's kind of nice seeing everyone interacting. Like, I actually really like the interaction of the main 3 characters. Like Han Solo.
Han's
like,
a creeper.
Oh god, no, I forgot about that. Okay, yeah, just get rid of him super creeping on Leia. But like, there's interactions in like Return of the Jedi and stuff where Han's like, it's like Han's talking to Leia is just like, oh my god, you love Luke. I'm so sorry. Like, it's fine. Don't worry about it. Go be happy. And like, he's totally cool with it. And like, at one point, Han gets jealous, and it's like, oh, it's like you can't tell me, but you can tell Luke. When they're like standing on a bridge, and then Han goes to storm away and be all broody about it, and he gets 5 steps, and he stops, and he's like, I'm sorry, like and turns around and like apologizes for it. So like,
okay, that's fair.
There are actually interesting relationships.
He thought to himself, what would Chewie do?
Right.
Chewie's a good guy.
Pretty much. Yeah, so get rid of the quote unquote attempts at like forceful romance, which is absolutely disgusting and of the time. Like those other moments are actually like surprisingly good. And my favorite movie on the list, number 1, Rogue One.
Hell yeah!
Which I also haven't seen, but I have it on good authority. It's awesome.
I can't tell if you're joking.
I'm not joking.
Wait, you've never seen it?
I haven't seen it yet.
Okay, that one we have to watch.
I'm seeing it soon.
That's beautiful.
I have to watch it.
I'm glad that your favorite Star Wars movie is one you haven't seen.
And so is my worst.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
And yet neither of those choices strike me as wrong.
I know. I had expertise whispering in my ear for this, so I just listened.
You're gonna watch it and you're gonna hate it. You're gonna be like,
that's
my
okay.
God, the fan wanking is too much.
I'll write a blog post about my great error.
I have been strongly wanked.
It's really interesting looking at this how like the prequels are largely clumped.
Because they're bad.
Originals are largely clumped. The sequels are all over the place.
They are, that's true.
Solo and Rogue One are all within a few pieces of each other for all of it. Like,
yeah, Rogue One is the top 3 for all of us.
Yeah, somewhere in the top 3, and Solo is between 6 or 8 for all of us.
Yeah.
So, like, it seems like the most sort of... The least consistent, I guess, are the sequels.
I think that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because the sequels are just such a... Like, I want to say diversion, but that doesn't sound quite right. It's such a left field from what different people want.
And we're
out of a
still
Star Wars.
sort of in the immediate aftermath of them, I guess.
Yeah, that's
too.
also true.
Whereas, like, the prequels and the originals are very much settled in a way.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see, because I know that, like, younger generations of Star Wars fans, those that were kids when the prequels come out, rate them very highly. They are much more popular with younger people, and I wonder...
Which is proof that young people are stupid.
Well, clearly.
Well, like I said, but I think I've said it before, what it really is they like the Clone Wars TV show.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I feel like
And it colors
even
their...
like Jar Jar gets more love from the young people.
That's
By young
true.
people, I mean like people in their 20s, right?
Yeah, they're now...
Well, I loved Jar Jar too when I was like 12 when the movie came out.
Oh god, even as a kid I didn't like Jar Jar.
Oh, I did. I thought he was great. I had like Jar Jar fucking toys. We had a fucking... Remember Koosh balls? We had a Jar Jar Koosh ball.
I was a big fan of
It was a Koosh ball that had like Jar Jar head and Jar Jar head.
What were you meant to do with Koosh balls?
Just chuck
play
them.
Just play
throw
with
them around?
I used to like to stretch out, like how they have little rubber bits and launch it across the room.
I used to like
I'm
rub
sorry,
them
I
with
just touched your
balls.
leg.
It's okay.
No,
Feel
Jake,
good on the
that's
balls.
not...
Oh man, if I had balls, I probably would have done that too.
No.
It sounds
All
like a
I-
great idea.
All I really know is Rosie O'Donnell loved chucking them into her audience.
Oh, yeah, that weird
well, they
talk
won't
shows,
hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I don't know. I'll be interested to see, like, in another 20 years
when
time.
when there's like 20 more movies to add to this
but
list.
Will the generation that is of the target age of Star Wars for the sequels, will they feel strongly about them?
I mean,
the best?
I will say I saw episode 9 and it wasn't a hugely packed theater. I saw it at like a weird time of day. But I did walk out with a father leading his children who were probably around 10-ish. I'm terrible at estimating children's ages. They had enjoyed themselves, so we'll see.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think
like
part.
getting out
I
of the
think
house.
Kids like anything you show them.
I think what we're observing is that Star Wars is just not for us. It's
Star
not
Wars
made for us.
are kids' movies.
Yeah, they're made for kids, and if kids like them, great.
Now let's add the Star Trek movies to this. No, let's never do that. There's no comparing them.
Yeah, no comparison them. That's
No
true.
And like
comparison
the fact that, like,
forward.
people do get all like,
Comparison forward.
thinking about like the backlash against The Last Jedi and everything really makes me think about how people online getting bent out of shape, like seriously bent out of shape, to the point that they're like sending threats to people.
Yeah, it's pathetic.
For a movie that's for children. And like, dude, if you didn't like it, there's enough.
Watch something else.
Watch something else.
Jesus
But
Christ.
acknowledge the fact that this movie wasn't made for you.
To quote William Shatner, get a life.
Climb a rock.
That too.
You know, like, I'm not going to send a letter to whoever makes, I can't think of a kid's movie,
Star Wars.
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
I mean, you could because they.
Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs looks great. I've never
It's
seen
pretty
it.
good.
But
I
it
like
looks
it.
good.
For
But
a
it's
kid's
not as
movie.
good as the original!
What original? The book?
I don't know.
It
Fucking
is based
idea.
off a book.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know,
I'm with
but
you,
that's
Jake.
not a
I know what
movie.
your point.
Sunny with a Chance
We do. We
of
just like to make
I know.
make his
Spaghetti.
life hard.
Sounds delicious.
I mean, okay, let me.
Now I want
Here's
spaghetti.
an example. I love the Addams Family. I love the original show. I love the Raul Julia movies. The new animated film looks fucking terrible. So you know what I did? Didn't go to it.
Well, maybe what some of this the problem is that we're also maybe a lot of these really angry people that really hate the new movies. Maybe they are so angry and hateful and have to go see them because they have stupid children that want to see them.
I think they just want to hate something because it gets them attention.
They are.
Probably. I didn't mean it. I
Deeply-
don't think these incels. No one's breeding
do
these
what-
fucking incels.
Okay, here's the thing. If
Please.
you cannot deal with it, do what we do. Start a podcast.
Have
There
a
we go.
podcast.
You can bitch about whatever you want in a podcast.
Leave-
And no one will listen.
Yeah, leave Kelly Marie Tran alone. You know, it's not her fault they gave her that haircut. I'm sure she didn't like it either. What was that haircut? Again, I know that wasn't her fault. Like, what idiot decided that would look good?
In fact, start a podcast. Start the Last Jedi Minute podcast.
There we go.
And every episode is just you moaning and then weeping into the microphone.
And then masturbating.
No,
Furious.
don't put that on the internet. No one wants that.
It's ASMR.
No.
All right, well, this is...
Wow.
Wow. This is... Wow.
There's more, too.
I know.
Let me fill my
This
fill
will,
my cup.
without a doubt, be our longest episode ever.
Cut a lot of it. Speaking of a special feature, I have something very special in every sense of the word
Is Mark Hamill locked in the basement?
that I did this week.
Yay, Mark Hamill's here.
God, I wish. He seems so fun.
He does.
He seems like a fun guy.
He does.
He's really into Halloween,
No.
Who isn't?
which just sounds right.
You don't like Halloween?
I don't dislike Halloween, but I'm not
You don't like candy?
I like people who...
I'm an adult. I can have candy whenever the fuck I want.
Yeah, but you give it little boxes of candy or little baggies.
Cool.
Nobody's
Jake's
handing
doing
me
the thing.
candy anymore.
We gotta do.
Yeah, we do the thing. What are
We
we
gotta do a
doing?
thing. So,
Oh my god, yes.
James wasn't here last week,
Oh,
but
Jesus.
so let me
Oh
tell
my
you
god, yes.
what Jake did last week. I love you guys so much.
Oh dear.
So what is the song, Jake, that you did?
It's the baseball song.
Oh my
Jake,
god.
Jake wrote a very, very, very quick parody of the baseball song from The Simpsons. That's
Jake
not
went
actually
to
from
the
The
ball
Simpsons.
game.
No, the talking baseball.
Oh.
Yeah.
Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Yeah. And when Jake first said, "Oh, I'm going to do a special thing," I wrote a parody song. My first impression was, oh, "We didn't start the fire," and then Jake did a different
Oh,
song,
God.
and the whole time I'm like, "But we didn't start the fire would work so well with Star Wars, and I should do that." And then I did that, and then I realized the song is very long. So I did the whole thing over the course of like a fucking week because I'm, I don't know, I need much attention or something. I'm going to ask you guys to sing the chorus because between stanzas, because there's 5 of them.
Wow.
Kill me dead. I'm going to need to breathe and drink water.
Oh god.
So I have the chorus for you guys.
Amazing.
And let's do. You can either cut or leave this.
Oh no, this is definitely staying in.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So just very quickly, because this is the one place I had to force the meter to work because the meter in this song is everywhere. We didn't start the empire. Anakin's been burning. Mustafar's been turning. We didn't start the empire. With their sabers lighted, may the Jedi's fight it.
Wow.
There you go.
That works.
That's your guys' job. In as good as you can fucking do it.
Yeah. I mean,
Fucking awesome,
I have a 10 years, so we'll
We
let
are
Jake
all
and
professional singmen.
Jake
I am
and
not.
Caitlin should be louder than the rest of us.
Probably won't be a big problem with that.
I was just saying.
You mean like as
We're
usual?
loudmouths.
All right, so I have a unnecessarily long song. All right.
You gonna give us a signal? Are we supposed to know?
Yeah, I'll start the chorus with you and then drop out. How about that?
All right, I like it.
All right. I'm gonna drink so much fucking water.
Have you practiced this? Because I haven't heard it.
A little bit,
She's been doing it really quietly under
Apparently.
blankets in the bedroom.
basically. All right. 50s Diner, 3PO, Darth Vader, Kid Fisto, CEO, Bibble, Jedi Council, Duel of the Fates, Saw Gerrera, Tachi Station, Titty, Monster, Wookiee Nation, North Corellia, South Corellia, BB-88. And then there's a quick moment where they actually take a break for a fucking change.
Nice.
Kessel Run, Force Ghost, Sacred Text and Porg Roast, Amidala, Decoy, Treasure Iteration, Viceroy, Grandchild of Palpatine, Naboo's got a new queen, Gold Bikini, Gungan City, what was with that horse boy?
We didn't start the Empire. Anakin's been burning. Mustafar's been turning. We didn't start the Empire. With their sabers lighted, may the Jedi fight it.
Scruffy looking nerf herder, get some cower converters, Maz Kanata and Mon Mothma sleaze bag no. Boga, Jago Bachira, Imwe Jawa, Womp Rat, at, I love you, I know. Cassian, Andor, Forest Moon of Andor, Jedi Council, Lando's Cape, Dexter, Blue Milkshake, Jakku, Mace Windu, Galen, Urso, Grogu, Droids have rights, Canto Bite, may the Force be with you.
We didn't start the Empire. Anakin's been burning. Mustafar's been turning. We didn't start the Empire. With their sabers lighted, may the Jedi fight it.
TIE Fighter, Chewbacca, Rio Durant Skywalker, Yub Nub, Moisture Farm, chop off somebody's arm, Stormtrooper Sidious, and General Grievous. Did Leia and Luke kiss? Got a bad feeling about this. Sabak betting Darth Maul, Blue Tiger Senate Hall, Count Dooku light swords, Yoda talking backwards, garbage compactor, super laser reactor, always getting captured, hide things in the floorboards.
We didn't start the Empire. Anakin's been burning, Mustafar's been turning. We didn't start the Empire. With their sabers lighted, made the Jedi's fight it.
2 more. Coruscant, X-Wings, murdering the younglings, Qui-Gon, Tauntaun, Tusken Raider, Obi-Wan, what's a midichlorian, and the Mandalorian, Snoke's tongue, Qui-Gon, blowing up, Alderaan, pod race coaxium, battle in the stadium, Newt Gunray, blown away. Have I said this is the way?
We didn't start the Empire. Anakin's been burning, Mustafar's been turning. We didn't start the Empire. With their sabers lighted, may the Jedi's fight it.
That's no moon, old man fight, get frozen in carbonite, R2, K2, speeder bike, Poodoo, Jar Jar Death Star Sarlacc, Yoda is a backpack, the Emperor with chimp eyes, Leia in a breen disguise, hijack a train, Boba Fett, fall into an endless pit, Crystal Fox, lifting rocks, Blurgs, Finn, and Ewoks, chicken walkers on the shore, fly into the planet core, Grand Moff Tarkin, Clone Wars, not the droids you're looking for!
We didn't start the Empire. Anakin's been burning, Mustafar's been turning. We didn't start the Empire. With their sabers lighted, may the Jedi's fight it.
Cleveland, we love you!
Oh god, you
Holy
fucking
fucking
broke me
shit.
with Did I Say This Is The Way?
That's so good.
We are not worthy.
That's why I was not
That
on the
was very
chorus
good.
for that verse. I was too
Very
busy
nice.
trying to keep myself from
Yes.
laughing over everyone.
That was so good.
That was beautiful.
Fuck. Somebody, oh my god. Oh my god. I want someone to make this a song. Someone do this.
I just did!
You know
It is
what we
a song.
No, but I mean this. Someone should like record it,
Aren't
put the
you-
music under it.
Don't you run a karaoke?
Yeah, like 2 years ago before the pandemic.
Yeah, it still hasn't come back.
But you don't have the equipment still?
No, I never had
Oh,
the
no,
equipment.
belonged
They
to
owned
the-
the equipment.
Oh.
Alright, well, make the fastest outro you've ever done.
Do you know what we're doing next week?
Dune.
That's the plan. Yes, good.
Well,
That was good.
The delivery was
Yeah.
excellent.
Very good.
There was some fear in your eyes.
well, because I realized, like, fuck, do I know what we're doing? Did Chris say that? Did he mean it? Was it a joke? Fuck.
It sounded like you guessed.
No, I actually
happened
did
to be
know,
right.
sort of. Okay.
If all goes well, that's the answer.
Thank you for listening to A Star to Steer Her By, the Sometimes Star Wars podcast. Credit to Ames. This week we've discussed, all the Star Wars, but we finished with whatever the fuck it was we watched.
Force Awakens.
The Force Awakens, episode 7. Next week we're going to talk about Dune, The Spice Will Flow, I guess. I don't know. I've never seen the shit, but we're going to watch both Dunes.
It's in
we're
theaters
gonna-
right now!
Wait, are we seeing that Dune also?
That's the plan?
We're doing both.
Wait, but what about the miniseries or whatever?
No, I'm doing the miniseries. We don't have time for that shit.
Well, I don't know. So we're doing 2 films. Okay, so apparently we're doing the 2 Dune films. I don't know anything about Dune except Spice. That's all I know.
Sting.
Star Wars ripped it off if you ask some people.
I assume that they love the Spice Girls. If they don't, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with them. Who doesn't like Spice Girls? Anyway, if you like what you heard and you want to hear more, or if you just would like to hear about Star Trek, which that's what we usually talk about. You can see these are the lengths that we're willing to go to avoid watching Voyager. We fucking watched, 7 Star Wars films, many of which were terrible. We're gonna watch 2 Dune films, both of which have been called terrible by various groups, just to avoid Voyager. A Voyager. Anyway,
I am very looking forward to Voyager.
well,
Good.
at least someone is.
You've
Anyway,
come a long way, Chris.
good job, Chris. I don't know, I am too. I'm just being
This
whatever.
was supposed to be the quick outro.
Yeah, sorry.
Anyway, you can check us out on... No, strike that. You can find us wherever fine podcasts are sold. We are on Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts. We're also on Facebook, where you can see shit we post. If you search on Facebook under A Star to Steer Her By. We are also SSHB Podcast on Twitter and Tumblr. Or you can visit our website, www.sshbpodcast.com, where you can find fan fiction and
This board.
the board of
is
Star
up.
Wars movies, and also the board of Star Trek movies, and maybe the lyrics to Ames's song.
Maybe.
I mean, if we trust the internet, I don't know. You all fuckers, we don't know. Anyway, I've been Caitlin.
I've been Jake.
This has been Chris.
This has been Billy Joel.
I'm sleepy. James.
Thank you, James.
Hi, Sleepy, I'm Dad.
Oh!